you got a lot louder.
Yeah.
Louder?
Way better.
Yeah, way better, clear.
Check, 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 check. How's
There we
that?
go. There we go. There we go. There we go.
Sounds
Listen,
great.
we got some shit going on now. All right, baby. Listen, we're back. Right.
All right. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah,
hey
we are
man,
back.
like it's hard to do this shit without some feedback. Like I said, I had to rebuild this entire fucking thing last week, and I'm just catching up with things.
I got you. I understand. Right. So, anyway. Listen, I can't run and grab a snack and let the goddamn shit run. They're fucking bitches. I swear to God. They're just fucking cowards. That's just what it is. Right? Let's do this. Hold up. Let's make this bigger. Right? And then what we're going to do is we're going to tilt this motherfucker like this. Right? Right. Listen. That'll do. I think that'll do, right? And then we'll grab the Appalachian flag, right? Where's my flag at? Flag. There we go, flag. Right, we'll grab the flag and we'll throw the flag like somewhere in the middle of the screen, okay? That should stop these motherfuckers from clapping me. All right, let's get back to the thing.
It's your argument, and unless you can prove that that's valid, then there's no point.
My question is quite simple.
Yeah, but that doesn't
Do
mean
you
it's
believe-
formulated accurately.
Do you believe that Lono exists? Yes or no?
I'm not going to answer that question for the reasons I just described. You already insisted that if I reject something, that if I'm ignorant of something, I reject it. Do you think that everyone in the world has to know everything simultaneously for that to be valid and true?
I think in order for your
Answer that
argument
question.
to be true, in order for it to be true
Answer that question, Bucko.
we atheists don't understand what we're rejecting, then you need to also apply that to yourself and to Christians and to Muslims and to any other person on this earth, where if you don't understand what you're rejecting the belief in, then you can't reject the belief in it. That's the implication of your
I didn't
claim.
say that I rejected the belief in Lono. I said
it's
I didn't
Lono.
know who Lono was. I didn't say anything about rejecting.
That's because I've asked you several times and you haven't, but let me get to my even greater point.
Mm-hmm.
You're saying atheists don't understand what religion is or what God is in order to be able to reject it fully or completely. We have someone over here who studied it in their own way. I've studied religion. I have a degree in religious studies, specialty in Christianity and Mediterranean traditions. And further than that, beyond
Do
me,
you?
Pew Research studies suggest that atheists and agnostics actually know more about religion and about religious stories, the foundational principles, than believers.
That's because they're more religious than they think they are.
Okay, you can.
They're concerned with deep matters, and one of the defining characteristics of someone who's oriented in a religious direction is that they're concerned with deep matters.
Okay.
In fact, it's virtually definitional.
Right, but they also have to identify with a religion.
You notice how like Jordan Peterson legitimately isn't, you know what I mean, like answering anybody else's questions but his fucking own?
Oh yeah, he's stonewalling everybody.
I mean, that's
but
pretty
what he's
cool, to be
saying,
honest.
but what he's saying right here is true. I mean, atheism is a religion. It's the most extreme religion known to man. I mean, it's basically atheism is autism to the most highest extreme of like I need to be able to answer every single thing materialistically in order to have an answer to something. I mean, it's literally
can I
like
speak to that? Can I speak to that as an atheistic autist? I don't look at it that way.
Of course, because you're autistic. Of course, why wouldn't you look at it that way?
No, just in the sense that like I'm not going to speak for all autists. I'll speak for myself. But like I'm not in my atheism. I don't believe in it, but I don't feel the need to like have this kind of like movement around it. You know, something equal to religion. Like, we don't believe you and we need to rise together. It's like, I think that shit'll figure itself out as time goes on, I guess. At the same time, like, I've never really ever faulted anybody for being religious. So that's
Yeah.
but
Well,
that's kind of
I
my
don't
thing.
I don't say that insultingly either. I call myself atheist for many years too, for that very reason of like, well, I don't have all the answers, and I don't want to try to convince other people
I mean,
of what I believe or whatever. You know,
that's
so.
that's the thing. Like, why am I gonna fight about something that I don't believe in?
No, like, yo, listen. Here's what it is, right? So,
Why am
like,
I gonna fight
atheism.
about
No, like, yo, atheism is not a rejection of like fucking traditional religion, right? This is the problem that like a lot of motherfuckers have. Because like traditional religion is nothing more than like the passing down of morals, right? Of like your fucking people and shit. Like fucking that have been gathered over time, right? That's all like really religion is in the end of the day. It's the problem with like when you have things like atheist is you have like a society where your original morals no longer apply, or you've moved away from like your original society where your people come from. Right? That's the issue that we have at the moment. Like atheism isn't an extreme religion. It's a rejection of like shit that no longer works. Is kind of
Well, yeah,
where
but
it's
my,
at.
my main problem with atheism, just to be very brief, and I don't want to impose. So
No,
I'll
you're
shut up
fine,
if you
bro.
guys want,
Listen,
but
you know,
just-
like you've been begging to fucking come on and like talk about shit or like ever, right? And I'm 100% fine with you.
Yeah.
Like, you know, I like talking to you, right? And I mean, so go
Yeah.
ahead, dog. Like, enjoy
Yeah, me
yourself.
too.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah, no, I appreciate it. I just don't want anybody to take it like an insult.
You're fine.
I
Like,
know
listen,
that it
again,
sounds
I
like
literally just got my stream back up because like I fucking let this motherfucker run too much and wasn't saying enough on it. So like, listen, say whatever the fuck you want. You know what I mean? We got all night.
Okay,
baby.
cool.
You know
All
what I
right.
mean?
I'll be really brief. So like the main thing I see with atheism is like you don't have a leg to stand on, and you can't really build a nation out of it. And this comes out of what you just said there. Like I had a very lengthy discussion with a Jew yesterday or the day before about the role of religion and nations and peoples, and how do they see it themselves in the world with everybody else in it, right? And effectively it came to this thing of like, he said the religion is how we preserved our nation, and that's really the only thing that's really
That's not
worth.
true.
He's like that.
None of that's true.
Wait, you think it is true or not true?
Not true. That's not true in any way.
What do you mean?
A religion is not how you save your nation, not how you preserve your nation.
Well, he's saying that that's how the Jews kept themselves together, is like they had a religion to keep a nation
Well, they
for
have
all this period of time or whatever.
No, they have an ethnicity. Right. They have an ethnicity and a culture, right, that separates them from everybody the fuck else. The religion just carries on the practices of that, like, ethnicity and culture. If you don't have an ethnicity and culture, you can't preserve a fucking nation. But you don't have one.
Well, I guess by that standard, then what would be the ethnicity and whatever of an atheist? Then I mean that's
Well,
right.
no. That's the point, right? Like, in a proper nation and a proper, like, people with an ethnicity, you don't become an atheist.
Right. So
Well,
I mean,
and your argument also assumes that the moral compass comes from religion, and I don't
And that's just
necessarily
not true.
believe
That's not
Yeah,
true.
I don't believe that either.
well, religion, like anything, can and will be abused.
No.
Right.
No.
I mean, if people are weak, it's
That is
gonna
not
be
that is
abused.
not that is not true. Right? That's not what anybody's saying at all. What we're saying
I mean,
is
he's not
Yeah,
he's
but
not
I'm-
wrong.
I'm-
He's
yeah,
not
I don't
wrong,
yeah, but I don't care.
but
We're not talking about that. That's like
ladies and
talking
gentlemen.
about like immigration
Purely
fucks up my
gentlemen.
wages. Oh man, well what about the fucking rapists? Like I don't care about them. I care about them fucking up my wages and destroying my community and my family. This is the fucking problem. I don't give a fuck about people abusing the fucking religious abilities. I don't care about the Pope. I don't give a shit about the goddamn Vatican and its fucking like gold in the basement or whatever nonsense bullshit that fucking the Protestants are complaining about. That's not the issue, right? The issue is like, yo, listen, when you have a proper like fucking community, right, and you have like a solid ass tribe, right, they will have morals without religion. And their morals will eventually form into a religion.
Sure.
Right?
but-
That'll
sure,
preserve
I agree-
that shit.
I agree with you, but
You know
here's
what
the
I mean?
thing is the Catholics have turned all the brown people in the world that are under the Catholic Church, and white people for that matter, into the tools of whatever it is that they're trying to do. So you can be the most moral person in the world. They'll flood your little city with whatever retard they want to send to your city and destroy your culture, destroy your economy, destroy your wages, and rape your kids
right.
and whatever else they want to do. I mean,
all right, so like
if they
the
want
Catholic Church holds soft power, right? And like they are well aware that they only hold soft power. And in holding soft power, which you have to do is be able to like extend your soft power. Like power is always like being gained and tried never to be used, right? So like the issue is back in the day when you didn't have like retarded ass Protestant people, right? Everybody was Catholic, and you didn't have to worry about the fucking the Catholic Church standing here extending like the fucking Africans into your fucking place, right? Because they wanted to preserve your community and your fucking family. Now that you have
like, I'll tell you,
Protestants, like again, they're
like
at
where
war
this
with the
is
fucking
going.
Protestants, right? They're standing here going like, hey, listen, you fucking Protestants, you know what I mean, want to stand here and like exterminate us. Guess what? We're going to bring all these fucking Catholic brown people into your fucking little town, right? And we're going to extend our reach into your fucking area, right? This is the problem. This is an argument between like fucking powers of peoples of soft power. There we go.
Hey, they're Catholic too. How bad could they be, right?
Right.
Well, here's the thing: is though, like if you look at the people who are actually like on the ground trying to get these people into cities, it's NGOs, you know, that are basically run by Jews, and on the ground here in America, it's nonprofit organizations that are run by Catholics, and they're the ones like, okay, Mr. Muslim people with 8 kids, come on to this neighborhood and start up a liquor store to feed the habits of the poor whites in this neighborhood, right? Like, you know what I mean?
How is that different from the Catholic Mexican that lives in your neighborhood that wants to cut lawns?
Well, it's not. I mean, what are you telling me that no white person in America, Italian or white or whatever, wants to cut lawns if the Mexicans didn't come and want to do it?
They'd cut their own fucking lawns. But
yeah, and,
you know, that's the thing. Well, no, but that's why
you could have
that's why your
kids.
argument. That's why your argument argues for cheap labor, and so we're done with that.
What do you mean? I'm saying if you don't import all these people, you can support 4 kids mowing lawns.
You could support your own 4 kids mowing your own lawn too, and not be spending the money and devaluing the currency and inflating the cost of things.
Based, right? But that's not really the fucking point, though, right? So, like, all right. So here's the thing. Again, what is going on? The argument is that like you had these Protestants who are trying to eliminate the fucking Catholic Church. The Catholic Church only has soft power, right? And the only way the Catholic Church can extend its power and its ability and maintain just its basic sovereignty as a fucking entity, right, is to sit here and have more people, right? And like in order to fucking get into like places like America, right, they have to keep having more people, you know what I mean, in the fucking country that are fucking Catholic, right? Yo, and it's only because, like, again, the Protestants have been at war with the fucking Catholic Church forever, right? Britain and goddamn America have been fucking trying to destroy the Catholic Church since their fucking foundings, right? For fucking 500 years, the fucking British have been trying to destroy the Catholic fucking Church, right? Why is this? It's because, like, yo, the fucking kings want to be able to commit usury and do whatever fuckery they want to fucking do without ever having to fucking deal with the consequences and having to talk to their fucking people about it. That's all that's fucking going on.
You're correct about that, but I wouldn't say that the Catholic Church is totally innocent in that either. Right? But you're not wrong.
I would say that they're remotely innocent in that. I don't really fucking care. You know what I mean? Right? Like, I don't really give a shit.
Well, the Catholic Church. Well, the thing is that the Medici they'd actually use some form of usury, and many of the Italian bankers did, right? So they aren't innocent. I mean, also the problem with banning usury for your own people is that kings and queens started importing Jews to do usury, and this is how the concept of the court Jew came into be, and the Rothschilds, etc., which isn't ideal either.
Well, funnily enough, that's where the Protestantism came from as well. I mean, in a sense,
True. Right.
So it depends on how far back you want to go, you know.
Yeah, and these are the conversations that Jordan Peterson would never have.
Of course. Well, people have tried to ask him. People have tried to get him to talk about these things. He refused to do it.
He's like, I'm not touching that with a stick. I remember, like, fucking, goddamn, that was probably like 2018, 2017 and shit. When I heard him say that, he's like, I'm not fucking touching that one ever.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah.
He's not talking about the Rothschilds or Freemasons.
He won't talk about the
none of
Jews ever.
that. The hashes eaters, nothing like that.
Well, and I realized something talking to Pnoid, like it's wrong just to call it the Jews. It is the Anglos as well, but it really is a very complicated. European history is very fucked up, and frankly, less than 1% of the population has any clue about it. So it's one of these things where we're just kind of stuck with a lot of people who are ignorant at the very best. You know what I mean? So it's like, how do you dig yourself out of this hole? And I don't know about Jordan Peterson. I mean, he's really a Jungian, than he is anything else,
100%.
as far as I can tell.
Oh yeah, he's 100% Jungian, certainly.
Which is definitely not Christian. So then it's like, well, then why does he want atheists to become Jungians? Because I think most atheists are Jungians. That's the funny. I mean, that's kind of the irony. Like, even in other countries, when people are becoming atheistic, I mean, the first thing they're turning to is like fucking Jungian New Age shit, right? Which is, has its value, but I don't know if that's like the best way for humanity to like start carrying, building a nation upon.
No, wait.
Like, I don't think you're going to build a
can
nation of
someone
Jungians.
explain to me what Jordan Peterson actually fucking wants?
Wow.
Our room clean and
Yeah, I mean,
on
He's like a he's like a classical
clean.
liberal.
Yeah, I mean, I know he's a classical liberal, bro. Again, so like we are well aware of what he is, bro. Like, come on now, you should know me better than this, though. What does he fucking want? What does he want?
He wants
Bloody pills!
What's bloody
He wants
pills?
people to clean their foreskin.
Wants you to clean the cock?
We're only 10
What's up?
minutes in an hour video.
No, I feel where you are. Right, I feel where you are, bro. Listen, let's keep going a little bit. You know what I mean? Fucking yo.
I like this guy's hair. I'll say that. I like this guy's haircut.
I don't like
I
his
don't like
haircut
him.
in
He
any
looks like
fucking way. I
ass.
think it's fucking retarded. And I think his face is dumb too.
Yeah,
but
that's
He
a very
look-
Italian.
He looks like he was
haircut.
hanging out. He looks like he was hanging out with Richard Spencer in 2016. That's all. I'm gonna say.
yo, I agree.
He does look like Richard Spencer.
I agree.
Religious tradition and accept the foundational stories that go along
Well,
with
that would mean more that they're sectarian than that they're religious. And most people, for example, in the United States, deny that they're religious, but accept that they're
Let's
spiritual.
pause there. You've been voted out by the majority.
I'm sorry. I just want to say one more thing. Oh, never mind. I was gonna say one thing. At least they didn't have any women there, but
Good, how are
looks
you?
like they have
I'm
women
Greg.
there.
Nice to meet
Hi,
you.
Greg.
Okay, so
Greg.
I feel like you're getting at this idea of polysemy, where we have multiple related meanings for a word, right? Like, for example, a famous painting can be emotionally moving in that it changes my emotional state. And when I was on the highway coming here to the studio, I was physically moving. I was changing my position.
Why does a guy in
If
a
I
t-shirt
said
and
I
shorts
believe
just
the Mona
look
Lisa
gay?
is very moving, and you said you don't really understand what you're saying, it's nailed to the wall, I would say that you're the one who doesn't understand what I'm saying.
Yo, it's because he doesn't have a chin, right?
Ah.
That's the
Look at
issue.
that. Look at that. He's got a whole ass crack on his fucking chin.
He has no
I
chin.
mean, he has a chin. He just has no jawline.
He's got a button chin.
No. He doesn't have
got-
any
he's
chin.
got a
Like,
chin bud.
all right, no, hang on a minute,
He
bro.
barely
Listen,
has a
what I'm trying to explain to you is, let me see. Okay, look, hang on, wait a minute. Yeah, that's so funny.
We might need a side profile, Pnoid.
That's what I was
Pnoid,
going
the
for.
stream
bro.
is down. Pnoid, the stream is down. People are saying it's down.
No, again?
Yeah.
It's crazy.
It might be
Pnoid.
back now. It might be back now.
It might be back. It might
It's
be back.
back. It's back now.
It's back. Okay,
What
yeah,
happened
we're
to the
good. We're
first
good.
one?
We're good.
I
We're
got
good.
you,
We're good.
homie. Yeah.
Right. All right. Listen, hold up. We're gonna because there's like there. Wait, hang on a minute. There we go. Okay. Come on, pussy. Work. Do what you're told. God damn it. Like, listen. Can y'all see that? No. Yes. Come on, it's supposed to work.
I think we're good now.
There we go. Okay, all right. Look
Not
at his side
sure.
profile. Look, he has
Okay,
no
you're
chin.
right. He doesn't have a chin.
He has no
Yeah,
chin.
that's right. That's real.
Yo, he has no chin whatsoever. Right? That's why. You know what I mean? Like, listen, that's why he looks gay. Just, you know what I mean? From, and then look at his stomach. You know what I mean? Look how skinny his fucking legs are and shit. He's built. He's built like fucking like Harry the Duck from back in the day and shit. Right? Yo, did Audis leave? I think Audis left. Audis leave? Is he still here? Audis! I don't know what the fuck he's doing.
Oh no, he isn't.
Oh, did he bounce?
Who?
He's still in the.
Me?
Audis.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Were you looking for me? Sorry, I had to pee.
You're good.
What's
You're good. You're good. Harry the Duck. What was the duck's name back in the day?
Howard the
Howard
Duck.
the Duck. Yo, he looks like. Yo, look at the stream. He looks like Howard. He's built like Howard the Duck.
Yeah, but
he
even
is.
that's not gay. It's not like gay.
Look at his chin. Look at his stomach. Look at his legs. Look at his arms.
I get it, but my whole point was like this guy's just like in a t-shirt and shorts. He like it's not like he's got wild colors or a wild style or anything that's like, hey, I'm gay. But like you can just fucking tell.
Yeah, look, he doesn't have a chin, right? He's
Dude, Howard the Duck, fuck Leah Thompson.
yo,
like,
but he
what are you
looks
talking
like
about?
yo, he looks
Oh,
like
yeah.
Howard the Duck had sex with
Did
Tim Dillon.
him Dylan?
Okay.
Omniscient being that intervenes in reality, right? So
Holy
when
shit,
I'm
he sounds like
saying
General
that
Chief.
I reject the concept of God, I'm aware of these other definitions of God, but I think that when we use words, we tend to only imply one meaning at a time. So the same way that I would say the Mona Lisa is moving emotionally, but I would not say it's moving physically. I would say I reject the concept of God in this very literal way. But
What literal way?
the way that God is this omniscient, omnipotent, agentic, supernatural being that sent his son down and has, caused miracles and all these things like that. The idea of God is
Do you
like,
think that there's an underlying unity of things?
could you explain that question?
Well, scientists, for example, believe that science unifies in a comprehensive theory. Do you? Yes? No? Or
I
that
know
there are
that people-
multiple competing truths? Those are the
Not
options.
entirely.
Either things unify or there are multiple competing truths.
I think that, I know that, for example, like in physics, people are looking for like a theory of everything.
Yo, you know
Right,
what he
but you
sounds
can
like?
only
Yo, he
build-
sounds like
you
a
can-
human resources manager.
Ugh, the worst kind of people.
Listen, again, I don't want to be on these people's side. I really don't. But Jordan Peterson is such an asshat. You know what I mean? He just leaves me no fucking choice but to be on the side of anybody but him. You know what I mean?
He didn't used to be. I really that's the thing. He really, really didn't used to be before the money and the pills and the clout. He didn't used to be. Like he was just your average fucking Joe, really. Just your average educator. Who was saying something
back when he
quite
stayed in his lane?
Oh, absolutely. Well, that's absolutely what I mean.
I mean, but
No, he caught some shit for the stand on compelled speech, and it launched him into this whole other thing that he is just not fucking built for. Or maybe
listen,
he was, but he's not now.
Now look, if he wants to defend liberal values, right? I'm fine with that. You know what I'm saying?
No, I agree.
But my issue comes down to his inability to go to have any type of tribe. right? Like, my problem is the fact that he is a psychologist, and psychology is literally like a degree of government, right? It's there to put broken robots back into like fucking working order. That's what psychology is meant to be.
They're meant to fix people like me.
Well, yes, right, that too, but also like, you know, if you ever look at the DSM,
that's what they're designed to do.
No, like, if you ever look at the DSM,
I don't mean to make it.
No, you're fine, right? If you ever look at like a DSM, fucking whatever, 5, 4, 7, I don't care, right? Whatever number we're at now. Like, all of their definitions of like antisocial personality disorder, you know, I mean, fucking autism, fucking ADHD, fucking like psychopathy, fucking whatever it is, right? If you look at all their definitions, right, and like their clinical like analysis, or like their little check marks as to whether or not like you have this, right? Like 3 out of like the 5 check marks will have to do with like your ability to find employment and be part of work, right? And
100%.
that's the issue, right? Is that like they're not there to make you into being like a fucking decent human being to be part of your family, right? You know what I mean? To like fit into your community, part of your neighborhood, or part of your culture. Right, they're there to put you back to fucking work in like the fucking like back on the plantation where you fucking belong.
Can you work on a plantation? Can you work in a factory?
Mm-hmm.
Can you do this, and this?
Yeah.
Okay, that's enough.
Yeah, that's the basics of it, right? In the end of the day.
Yeah.
So like that's my problem with guys like him, is like literally his entire life's work is based on, you know what I mean, like fucking not just promoting the system, but promoting putting people back into the system who obviously have been spit out, and not ever looking at the system and going, is this meant for humans?
Right.
You know what I mean?
No, 100%.
That's my
absolutely
issue, right? Because like
no, absolutely, and that's why like if you'll let me go on a tangent here.
Do your thing, do your thing, sir. Go ahead, please.
But no, like with the RFK autism shit, and I know this was a couple of weeks ago before like the real backlash of it.
Mm-hmm.
But like, you don't have autistic kids, and the thing is, like, I'm lucky that, you know, I'm a little touched, and my kids are a little touched, but they're functional. Like, they're functional, but there's a lot of people that aren't, right? So if you're going to lump this shit into the same category, why don't we look at what's going on with it, right? Like, obviously, well, because you got the moms on Facebook and every other social media being like, there's nothing wrong with them. They just think differently. It's like, no, you got kids like mine, right? But like, if you're going to lump this shit in the same category, there you got kids like other people's kids who like they're 17 and the only word they know is no. Do you want this? No. I mean, you know, if you want to make it a spectrum, you got to fucking accept the whole fucking bite.
Well, I mean,
is all I'm saying.
All right, so here's my thing, right? So like whenever we're speaking, right? And I mean, not just like me, but like, you know, when I'm talking to Mr. Google, I'm talking to like fucking Prefix, I'm talking, you know what I mean, like to whoever, right? And Mountain, on a regular basis, I will like check myself and go like, am I being propagandized? And I've had this conversation with a lot of y'all, right? Where it's like, is this my thought? Is this Russia's thought? Is this China's thought? Right? Is this like the CIA's thought? Right? And I think it's important for, you know what I mean, all of us to do that on a regular basis, to go like, listen, am I spouting propaganda? Am I the issue? Right? And
well, I didn't get to finish either though.
Oh, go ahead.
But no, you go ahead, man. Like I think you're making a great point, and then I would like to make my counter.
Right? Yeah. Like fucking, that's my problem with Jordan Peterson. He never goes like, "Am I the asshole?" Right? Am I the issue? Is what I'm doing positive for the world and for humanity? Right? He never does that. Right. He just assumes it is.
Well, I'm educated, and you are less educated, and you don't take as many bloody pills as I do, so you're not as educated.
You didn't go to Russia to get special
detox,
special K treatment to put in the coma. Yeah. Go ahead, man.
But no, I mean, the other side of the argument, though, like with the RFK thing, is it's like, I mean, I think it's known at this point that like TISM is a genetic factor, but like there's something else to it, because parents can have several children and maybe only one of them has the TISM. So there might be an environmental component that kicks that in, right?
Yeah.
And I think the backlash to the research of that is sad. Because again, like all the moms that are just like, my kid's not, there's nothing wrong with him. He's just different. And then like you've got other people's kids that are like, again, at 17, like, no. And those are the only ways they can verbalize.
Yeah, I feel you.
So it's like, I think it's worth looking into. Like maybe we look into the fact that like we've been putting poison in our food for decades, as we've seen the rise of this. Like, even if it comes up with nothing, I think it's worth looking into at least.
I feel you. All right, let's keep going a little bit.
And why do you think they're doing that?
It's interesting. It's helpful.
But they also believe that there's an underlying unity to things.
In a sense, yeah. Like, like the material world and time and space are probably governed by universal laws and principles.
Partly that, yes, yes, but that the same thing might extend to a broader domain that would include imagination and value.
Could you help me connect that to the prompt?
Well, I'm trying to define God, the God that I don't think atheists do a very good job of defining. Here's another question for you. What do you think guides you in your determination of whether or not what you're saying to me is true?
Can we go back? Can we stay on what we were talking about?
We are.
Okay.
You're just uncomfortable with the question.
No, I feel like you're just kind of throwing different spaghetti at the wall.
I'm not.
Okay.
I asked you a very specific question. What is...
And the risk is sounding like General Chief, axiologically, you know what I'm saying? I use my qualia to like determine whether or not I'm telling the truth, right? You know what I'm saying?
I mean, I do understand what he's getting at to some extent. Like it's sort of the God's laws written on your heart. There's like a moral argument about how if morality is like so intuitive to the human experience, even if it's not logical, it's so intuitive that you would think that there's some there's something to it, and that you might want to follow that because it's just so inherent to your being. And that's what he appears to be getting at, as if that's the case, if there's like sort of this degree of principles that are beyond geography, exist in all people, maybe there's some sort of like unifying force at the top which causes that to be the case, and that's what he's referring to as God.
I mean,
but isn't that animals though? Isn't that just like animals?
Well, I'm trying to give him a little bit of the benefit of the doubt. Like, there's ways that you can.
I get it. That's a long way to get there, though, man.
Listen. I feel like, the things are just like instinctual. Maybe they're instincts. You know what I'm saying? Right? Fucking maybe they're just like instincts that have, been with us for I don't know,
I think
60 million years, something like that.
Sure. Well, like part of the issue is that when you look at like a lot of Darwinists or a lot of like atheists that try to create like some sort of conceptualization of morality, what they come upon is this idea that morality is effective. Like, it's just materially effective. It just works materially. I don't believe that to be the case, personally. But that's a common argument that you see across a lot of like non-religious folk. It's that morality is just like effective. It's good for your own survival. Like, if you don't piss people off, then they'll help you out. Like like some sort of game theory, law of reciprocalness, like that sort of thing. And that's what they'll try to apply to sort of validate morality. I don't really think that actually applies in the way you imagine it does.
I mean, like, wait, hang on, wait a minute, because that is 100% my argument, Right. Let me put this like this. Okay. So like, if you live in a place, right, and you're relying upon the people around you to eat, right, on a regular basis,
Sure.
you can't, you know what I'm saying, when like you, after you get done, you know what I mean, like buying grapes from somebody, hit them with a fucking hammer, right? You know what I mean? Right? Because like you're not going to ever be able to buy grapes from that fucking person again. Right? So like just as a rule of law, right, you fucking learn basic fucking morals of like you don't hit people with fucking hammers. You know what I mean?
Well, that is the case, right? And like I would say that that's the case for most people.
We're tribal creatures by nature.
Yes, exactly.
Yes, but
Like,
what we come across, right, is that like if you look at like how civilization originated from, it originated in societies, organizations of civilization that were extremely elitist. So elitist to the fact that most males didn't reproduce. That's very low in like Maslow's hierarchy. You think that they wouldn't allow that to be the case, and they wouldn't allow somebody which, from a numbers perspective is far fewer than. Like you wouldn't expect at least most people don't expect this to be the case. They would not expect, some small minority or a single man to prevent them from being able to reproduce. But that's what we observed happened. So when you get into those sorts of situations,
I think more primal creatures have kind of the eugenics thing in their brain, and they can just fucking smell it.
Eugenics? Well, like it. In your own intuition, right? Like as a Darwinistic creature, if that's like the route you want to go down, you do not want to, if we want to, emulate General Chief, like under no circumstances do you ever want your genes not to be able to reproduce. Like that's just never the case, right? So you would never, supposedly, you'd never accept a civilization which had like that sort of extremely hierarchical structure, but that's how civilization originated.
What is? So I have a question. Right? What is the percentage of women who reproduced?
We know it to be more than the males, but not
we know that.
Not the
100%.
Obviously,
right? We know that, right?
Yeah.
Here's so like this is ultimately all right. So with the first civilizations, right? You're talking about like Sumer and Ujik, all that type of shit, right? No, actually, like I studied a lot about this, right? Because me and you having conversations about this, we've had to like go back and look up shit all the time about them because like they're always brought up in our conversations about like why was the wheel invented, when did the horse come, right? All this shit, like we had to stand here and go through all this stuff, right? So like I've done and my original study of like anthropology was like the study of like how fucking alcohol caused like the first civilizations and shit, right? And the question is ultimately, did the men survive long enough to reproduce?
So well, we know that humans reproduce like fairly early, but
yeah. I mean,
maybe like 15, 14, right?
Maybe.
But the reason why we think that like these societies, there was like some sort of male harem going on, was that it was like I think one male reproduced every 17 females.
Yes.
Right? And the population was going up, right? Like, so the population was exploding upwards and things were becoming like relatively safer, right? Because civilization is becoming more organized, right? So you wouldn't expect like rates of violence to like massively increase.
Oh, you mean like civilizing?
Yeah.
What you're saying.
Well, yeah, like, so you wouldn't expect like, violence to massively go up. So, and you would assume that like you need like a degree of like as you say, Tom, you need a degree of civilizational capital, right, to expand, and you need young men. But for any civilization, you need a group of young men who aren't dying off in wars to be able to like explode your civilization, right? Like if the boomers entered like another like a World War III situation, you would never saw like the boomer economic boom, because they would have been all at war dying. So for civilization to occur, you need some sort of a stability that, you know, happens, you know, either from the success of a wars, or you have males succeeding and building up excess resources, you know, or you're just sort of
All
like
right, so like, okay, all right. Here's where we are, right? So throughout history, it's 40% of men reproduced, right? So that's basically, you know, I mean, like 1 man for every 2 women, right? And it's 89% of women, right? So it's like 1 man for every 2 women, okay? Reproduced. All right, so the question is,
and keep in mind that was the case even in like very stable civilizations, like in the medieval era. And I mean stable as in, you know, like stabler compared to you know, very ancient or prehistoric times, right? Like there would have been a lot of men who had the opportunity to reproduce but didn't, or were sort of just like outcompeted by you know, the like elitist, very aristocratic foundation of the civilization. But so we do know that at least a lot of these civilizations had like groups of young men that were not reproducing, similar to what we have now, right? Is where or is where like the dating market is like advancing to like towards like Pareto's distribution. Is where
I mean, is what you're getting at that like what religion does is exclusivize reproduction? Is that where you're going?
No. So what religion does is that it presents the idea that you should be moral despite the fact that the world is immoral, and immorality in the world is often, you know, something that leads people to great success. That's the purpose of religion. That's the Nietzschean, you know, perspective of what religion is. Like it's a you know, Nietzsche sort of posited.
Funny how successful the fucking Vatican is. Just saying.
The Vatican. So the Vatican historically is not really as much as a religious institution as people like to frame it as. It's much more of a political and military institution, and it was historically, and that's how it gained the majority of its influence historically, through bribes and forms of soft power.
Stop doing that upward inflection because it drives me nuts.
I mean, I could try and stop, but the
you don't talk like that. I guarantee you don't talk like that. So just don't talk like that.
Pnoid, like you've talked to me quite a bit. Am I like being abnormal in any sense?
He's like fucking 18. You know what I mean? Like, listen, he's still in school and shit. You know what I mean? So he does talk like that. And
all right.
And he's Canadian.
Okay. All right.
He's Canadian.
I'll give you a pass, but outgrow that shit, son. Outgrow
I'll try
that
my
shit.
best. I'll try
Seriously,
my best.
because like men will never take you seriously. It like if you talk like this all the time and try and make a point and blah blah blah, like men will just fucking tune you out because you sound like they're bitches.
Okay, fair enough. But so like the Vatican is it's really not like so much of a religious organization as people frame it to be. And it gained most of its power through non-religious means, right? It gained most of its power like through Constantine, right? Like the original churches, which was Constantine established Christianity as a religion that was acceptable to be worshipped through violence, not through like argument or debate or logic or truth or any sort of like higher-minded goals. Yes. So, but when you're dealing with a when you're dealing with like the non-elitist like interpretation of what religion is, like it's not a sort of here it's I'm struggling to find what the original point was, but when you're looking at like it's sort of like a slave mentality, right? It's sort of like this justification to the lower classes that you should follow morality because there's some sort of like long-term goal that you will achieve, like whether that be heaven or whatever else. You'll have like some sort of or like in the Buddhist, it's like some better karma that will lead to a better life, like once you reincarnate.
I think I
So
figured it out.
it's sort of
But I
like this
think, all right, wait,
justification
I
to the
think I
slaves
figured.
to
I
make
think
them
I
more
figured it out.
obedient.
I think I figured it out.
Mm-hmm.
Go for it.
It was slavery.
It was slavery that what?
All right.
Like God's creation religion?
No. Okay, so like the reason why men fucking only like for every 17 males, you know what I'm saying? Like there was like, you know, one male would produce or whatever, right? You know what I mean? Slavery.
Oh, okay. Yeah, no, that's sure.
Right.
But
I got a thought. While you
that
guys are talking, I just thought, Mr. Google, if you'll allow me 1 second.
oh yeah, go ahead.
You know, the whole premise of the conversation started with like, well, what's the point of religion? So I'm going to relate it to like the Hegelian slave master dialectic, right?
Mhm.
If you continue to have a harem situation and the premise is like, well, everyone's like just a serf and they work for these generations of master class, they eventually become decadent and weak and the slaves just overtake them. So maybe part of the purpose of religion is to get every man, the child is his property. So if you have it where just the strong man has the harem and all the kids of the workers, just like the whole family has no ownership of any of the output, it all just goes up to some other fucking family, like collectively. Now it atomizes it where each family, what's that saying? Every man's home is his castle.
Yeah.
So they get a little bit more ownership over, you know, the working unit. And now it's in their own interest to make their own kids economically viable instead of just kind of being part of a machinery en masse that works for the elite.
Sure. I mean that is also the case, 100%. But like then again, that's sort of like a pacification tool. It's like a form of extortion. Like you'll follow this if you don't. Like, sure, but it's like if you know, extortion is based. We're all familiar, but it's a form of extortion where it's like if you accept these, you know, if you don't accept these terms of the deal, you know, we'll fuck you over in as many ways as you can imagine. But if you do, we'll give you like a little bit back, like just some modicum of a service, to you know, keep you satisfied, right? Like the same thing that the mob does. Like, well, you know, if you pay us money, the other mobs won't extort you. Okay.
No, I get it. It's the same maze. They're just kind of rearranging the walls. It's the same outcome.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. But to what Pnoid was talking about,
we're totally doing the same thing anyway.
Yeah, 100%. But yeah, what Pnoid was talking about, yeah, like that. I believe the study that I'm referencing, it came to the concept that there must have been some sort of like major economic disparity that was causing this to happen. And that would probably, you know, materialize itself as like a very large proportion of slaves and, you know, a very small percentage of actually independent, like sovereign people that just ruled over that civilization.
Yeah, it's literally just slavery, bro. That's all it was. Right? Everybody like, man, listen, why didn't like go listen? Why is it that the nigga with the GED is the one figuring this shit out? Why?
But like how many?
Yo, why?
But no, I have a genuine question.
like, yeah. Why is a nigga with a GED the one going, bro? Look, when did slavery start? 11,000 years ago. When did this shit become a major problem? 11,000. Oh, listen, like 8,000 years ago. Oh yeah, yo, listen, that's why it is. This is a fucking. We had 17 to 1 fucking people getting reproduced. Listen,
and for how many fucking.
I don't know, dog.
You know, centuries. How many centuries did atheists just go to church so they didn't get fucking clubbed to death by their village?
Yeah, listen. All right? Here's the thing. First off, no. All right. First off, your church, and this is very important to understand. Christianity is a young religion, right? You know what I mean? It's like 2,000 years old, okay? That sounds old, but it's fucking not. Because, like, in the human civilizations, like, you know, fuck, 7,
I'm not talking
8,000
about
years old.
I'm not talking about Christianity exclusively. I'm just talking about, like,
Yo, because your church
you
was
know,
the center of your village. And you were
Yeah,
expected
it was
to
the center
check
of your
in once a
community,
week.
right? So
Yeah.
yeah, so you have to understand that, like, if you're an average person and you get taught, like, growing up by, like, literally, like, if we're going to go by, like, the Catholic conception, but it works for other religions as well. Like, the smartest person in your village, right? Probably one of the only literate people in your village, right?
a wise
Uh,
man.
Yeah, like, if he's telling you this is true, I mean, you don't know how to fucking read, and you don't know how to read Latin either. So, I mean, like, and this guy's incredibly wise. He tells you things that seem to be accurate. You know, everybody else trusts him. He has the backing of, you know, the entire community, as well as, you know, some modicum of military power as well. So it's like, well, yeah, of course I'm going to trust this guy. Like, he seems very legitimate, and most people would. So you're not going to get a lot of atheists in, prior to, like, the secularization of the state, right? Then you start to get atheists afterwards, because then it starts to dissipate from the community and the legitimacy of the government. And the government propping up through propaganda, et cetera, et cetera.
Yeah, and remember, like, the state's a brand new fucking idea, too, right? Like, really,
that is also
end,
the case.
Yeah, really, in the end of the
Yes.
day, the first use of the word state to describe a polity didn't come into being until, like, 1528 in Machiavelli, right? And then after that, there wasn't actually, like, real formed fucking states until, what, the fucking 1700s, some shit like that?
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, like
all these concepts are brand fucking new. Like, listen, in Italy, you know how many people spoke fucking Italian in the year 1900? 10%.
You mean like Roman Italian?
Like Italian that you know today, right? 10%.
Yeah, very little.
Right. Yo, listen, by like motherfucking 1930, it was like 80, right? This is the fucking problem. Like, yo, French again, 1850, half the population spoke French. Germany, same shit. Right? Germany wasn't unified until 1880. Right? Like, all of these things are fucking new. We just think that they're fucking old because we've always known it this way. Right? Like, literally, Mr. Google
Well, and we
like has never lived in a world where Ukraine wasn't a country. But me and you did.
Well, that's the thing, is like just the acceleration, the acceleration of everything. You know, information and culture, and, like, life has never moved at as fast a pace as it does now.
Yeah,
and
but
it's only getting faster.
Yeah, I think
so. It's like, I mean, you don't have time to form a culture anymore.
Yeah, but it's not that. But I think like the entire premise.
We've got time to destroy. We've got time to destroy a culture, but we don't have time to build one anymore, and that's almost by design.
Yeah, but I think the entire premise of this, as a thing, right, was that, like, you know, the entire, like, the Prussian school system, and, you know what I mean, like, fucking, like, standardized education and compulsory education, which came to be in, like, the 1860s, 1870s, right? And then, like, modern like communication, and then electricity, and then oil has, like, allowed for, like, the ability of all this shit to spread in the mass way. Right, but, like, listen, let's get back.
Can I tell you something? Can I tell you something interesting, Tom? Before you do that, is Illinois actually voted down a bill proposed by the governor, Pritzker. I know you know his name, but no, like, they actually struck down a bill that would restrict, like, homeschool rights and shit like that.
Yeah.
Where, like, they would have to mandate the curriculum and blah, blah, blah. Like, you can teach your kids this, but it has to be our thing. And, like, they shot it down finally.
Well, thank God. You know what I mean? Like, you know, but I'll be honest with you, it's going to cause worse education with, like, standards, but I'm fucking fine with it. Let's keep going.
What is it that you think guides you when you're talking to me to help you determine whether what you say is true?
Logic, memory, reasoning, sensory information.
How do you distinguish that from being governed by something that's false?
An interesting question.
How do you know the difference when you speak between what's true and what's false? So you could
I
imagine
infer, right? I can infer. I can.
from what principles?
So, and what are you getting at?
I'm getting at the fact that your conscience guides you. Is that
Okay.
reasonable?
Conscience is defined by
Conscience.
my empathy and my reason are my foundational.
Define it any way you want.
Okay, so that's how I'm defining my conscience. Is my my conscience is my sense of
Right
and
and
wrong. Yeah, exactly.
Yes.
Yeah,
Where
yeah.
does that come from?
I would say that comes from an evolved capacity to
Being around
empathize
people your
and a
entire life.
recognition of the.
That's how I would define it.
Fucking based, right? It's that simple. Like, I don't know why it is that like this is so hard, right? You know what I mean? Like, listen, we're all taught things every day just by like mimicking and learning. That's why like I'm really concerned about AI, right? Is because like they're like, oh well, AI has to be programmed and it has to learn. Like, nigga, so did you. You weren't born learning how to talk. You know what I mean? Like, get the fuck out of here.
Well, the problem with AI is that AI is you can imagine AI is essentially being the wisdom of the crowds. It's this accumulation of all collective knowledge, and it just sort of mimics it and shuffles it around and then spits it out.
Yeah, so
it's
do we.
mathematically designed to be as convergent as possible.
So do
but,
we.
Yeah,
So
that's also
saying,
true, 100%. But the problem is that
are you saying that artificial intelligence is fucking autistic?
Yeah, a little bit, but the thing is though is that the way that innovation actually works is that it operates through a very small percentage of people that are very divergent from the normal population, right? AI is incapable of doing that because it doesn't have like a sense of individuality, which is essential for any form of creative act or a novel act. It doesn't have a will, right?
I mean, wait, hang on, wait a minute, bro. Listen, okay, let me keep this 100% honest with you. All right, if like you draw a picture or some shit that nobody's ever seen before, right? It's probably not going to be a picture of anything in the end of the day. It's just going to be nonsense, right? And AI can make nonsense.
So
it makes nonsense all the time.
Yeah, humans make nonsense constantly. I make nonsense all the fucking time, bro. Like, just on a regular basis.
So, like, the thing is that, like, when you ask AI a question, like, what it's going to give you is, a question that is, like, an answer that has been approved by many experts that has, that's using, like, a mathematical model, which is meant to mimic human behavior, right? Now, the thing is, though, is that human behavior is necessarily
I'm putting my hand
inventive.
up. I want you to finish, but like I'm putting my hand up here.
Okay.
Because I get a great example of how that shit goes wrong.
Gotcha. So, AI is just a mathematical model like designed to be convergent. It's meant to mimic human behavior. It can't perform like novel tasks. If you were to ask it to draw a picture, like there was this very famous example is where the asked AI like whether or not they could like, I think they fixed this now, but before the asked AI like whether or not they could draw a picture that was a full wine glass, like a wine glass that was completely full, and it couldn't do it because it didn't have any data it was trained on to do such a thing. Right now, human beings do have like a priori knowledge, which AI does not have. And even if it did have this, it still wouldn't be useful, like in the way people imagine it to be, because it still wouldn't have a will, and it still wouldn't have directions. It would still be like just like a monkey on a typewriter, like just doing random shit all the time. It wouldn't be able to like concentrate that through like an ego, which is how I believe like we psychologically perceive creativity to be, which is that it's like concentrated through an ego. So even if AI was capable of innovation, it still wouldn't be. It would have to be an agent.
I don't think you're right about that. Let me actually, Aldous, go ahead, bro. You've been waiting patiently.
Well, no, my example to that was like I asked, because I was going through computer shit, and I'm like, if I'm gonna do it, I'll do it. So I asked ChatGPT what would be the fastest CPU for my motherboard, and I got an answer from ChatGPT, and literally like miles of evidence to very much the contrary.
Mhm.
Like it wasn't even talking about the same thing, and I was very specific in my search. You know, this is this motherboard, what CPU can it maximize, and everything else I look up,
It
like as a
contradicts them.
Google search, yes, 100%.
It's intriguing. I mean, that's probably a major flaw, but
But yeah,
I mean, maybe it wasn't
anyway,
trained on
right?
that
Yeah,
data. But
sometimes it's gonna have like bad shit. But here's where I'm at.
Mhm.
Eventually, you're gonna program AI to do like specific shit, right? And that's what they're working on now, right? Is where they're like, listen, we're gonna just teach it how to do medical shit, and then teach it percentage chances of like what things can be, right? So like, if, when you know like all these medical things, you know what I mean? Like, oh man, listen, the common cold looks just like HIV. You know what I mean? With like the chances of HIV versus motherfucking like the common cold, there's percentages that you can work out. You know what I mean? And gamble that it's not motherfucking HIV, right? And so like, once you start training it for these type of like basic things, and then you start throwing it into robots, and the robots go like, well, like all this is like cool, but like I need more information. They start sensing things and start adding more info that like human beings probably might have missed in their fucking shit. As in like, literally today we solved a fucking, like, I don't know, century old issue, or like, not like a 30-year-old issue of like why we have like 17 motherfucking moms for one dad, right? And back in the fucking day. Oh, It was slavery. We literally just solved that tonight on the fucking live stream. I don't know why we did that, but we did that, right? AI is gonna be able to do shit like that. And I mean, much faster than like these midwits in fucking college can.
I agree. Yeah, like the AI. I think AI will replace midwits the fastest. I think those are people that are in real danger because those are our current AIs. They're designed to be as convergent as possible and as conformist as possible. But to people who are doing disruptive things, like it won't be the case. And I think for people that are laborers, it also won't be the case for a very long time too. Because
What do you think is doing the destructive things?
Pardon me?
Just curious.
Disruptive, not destructive. Disruptive.
Yeah, disruptive. Yeah, so what I mean by that is just like the 2.5% of people that actually contribute to innovation, according to the diffusion of innovation theory.
I thought you meant more like
I should say
socially
Mr. Google believes in the great man theory of Italian school of fucking like politics and shit. You know what I mean? Right? And I mean,
I'm pretty close. I'm pretty close.
Yeah. I get it. I mean, that's cool.
I asked AI to make me more cool and to give me more friends, but it didn't work.
I agree.
That's right. I tried that myself too, but but yeah. So, I think laborers will be fine because like actually creating a robot that is capable of interacting in the physical world is very, very sophisticated problem, and we probably won't. It'll probably take us a little while to solve that. But I think the midwits are the most in danger.
I don't know. 2028 is going to be fucking
it's created
crazy.
on a computer. The first place it's going to replace people is at the computer.
2028 is going to be
100%.
fucking nuts. I'll be real, bro. Like, that's what everybody's calling. It's not like... I wrote it in my book before everybody started calling it. You know what I mean? Like, last year at some point. And then, like, everybody says it's going to be 2028. Now, apparently, I'm a fucking prophet. You know what I mean? Like, maybe, you know what I mean? Like, y'all should, like, look to me. You know what I mean? For, like, religion and shit. Because, like, I got the answers, apparently.
Well, you have to be a little careful because a lot of them might be pulling, like, the Elon Musk strategy, which is like, oh, listen, guys, we'll have self-driving cars by tomorrow. I promise. And then he says that for the next 2 years, right? And it still bumps the stock up somehow.
All right.
So yeah, you have to be like somewhat careful about that.
Well, then, I mean, you're not a genuine investor. It's like, yeah, he says it'll take 2 years. It might take 4, but like, if you're a genuine investor, you'll invest in that shit if you believe in it.
Sure. I mean, I think a lot of people also invest in Tesla because they believe.
Aren't we talking about belief?
I mean, we certainly are. That's true. But
all right. Yeah, we're gonna skip ahead.
Like
a little
it's
bit
sort of like a
in
stock
video,
change. Yeah,
right?
go ahead.
We're gonna do claim number 2: morality and purpose can't be found within science.
That's an interesting topic.
Hierarchical structure. Are some things more important than others?
Are some things, I think some things lead to more benefits than others.
Then, by your own definition, some things are more important than others.
Yes.
Okay.
Okay,
What is
pause there. You've been voted out by the majority.
How you doing?
I think it's going to get to a point because I feel like if you asked AI, even in a few years from now, how to make a SpaceX rocket, it's not going to be able to inform you of how to do that. And I think we're also entering an era where people that are doing the creative work are being a lot more careful about where they share their information to. I know they're damn well aware of the copyright issues when it comes to stuff. People are sharing a little less publicly now. They're a little more private with what they share. It's not like social media used to be. People used to try and like share and go, look at me, look at me. And I just don't see that being the case anymore. A lot of the data is kind of tapering, or it has tapered. They're having a very hard time finding high quality data for these AI models lately.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, there's a theory on that. It's about how like AIs might eventually run out of good data, and they might just stop advancing completely.
No, they're going to start training themselves.
Or it's an opportunity for people to make the data, right? And that could be a very profitable job for people, is to make high quality data.
For a few years until they realize that like the AI is caught up to those kids and does the same thing. Like it's always a chase.
I mean,
what's up, SMG?
We're making the data right now for it. We are making the data right now for it. So let's keep going.
Not be found in science. It would just depend on like what you're referencing. If you're saying a description of your psychological preferences would be considered within science, sure. But I don't think that you have to say that it comes from science in order to be like an atheist. As an agnostic atheist, I don't know if God exists and I don't believe that a God exists. And the only ones that I would really reject would be like the all-knowing, all-powerful, all-good, perfect notion of God that plenty of Christians like prescribe themselves. So I guess
how is that relevant to this claim?
You're basing a position of morality and purpose in
this
some
little
like,
faggot
notion
is hyperbolic
of God
as shit.
that isn't the same type of notion.
You leave Destiny's little brother alone, okay? We're watching him. We're watching him debate Jordan Peterson right now.
Of God that typical Christians would prescribe. Your notion of God is
what typical Christians?
Yeah, typically when I talk to Christians, they say that they believe in an all-knowing.
How about Cardinal Newman, who defined God as conscience? He was a major influence on all of Catholic social theory. How about that Christian?
Sure. So do you believe in the all-knowing, all-powerful, all-good notion of God?
What do you mean by believe?
Do you think it to be true?
That's the circular definition. What do you mean when you say you believe?
How is that circular?
Because you added no content to the answer by substituting the word true and believe.
Yeah, I gotta throw this in here real quick, bro. All right, so like,
He
hold
said,
up.
"What is the one true God?"
Hang on, wait a minute, Brad. Like, I gotta throw this in here real quick. So, like, the definition for belief and trust, right? Very important things. Trust is what you have after you see something operate completely, or like consistently over and over and over again. That's why you call banks trust oftentimes, right? Because they do the same thing and they're like reliable, right? You know, what I mean, that's what you have trusted, right? But like belief comes in, like you have belief in things when like you don't have any evidence for them, right? Like you believe, you know what I'm saying, that like, yo, fucking, you're not going to get in an accident tomorrow. Like, yo, you don't have any trust that you're not going to get in an accident tomorrow? Who fucking knows, right? You know what I mean? Because like, yo, you didn't live tomorrow yet. It's just belief. You don't have any evidence for that shit at the moment. Let's keep going though. Right, I just want to throw that out here, right? Because this Jordan Peterson goes way off the rails right here.
I said you think it to be true.
All right. So if you believe something, you stake your life on it.
What do you mean by that?
You live for it, and you die for it. That's what I mean by that. It isn't something
it's your
that you
definition
say.
of the word
It isn't something
belief.
that's associated with logical consistency. It's not declarative. It's not propositional. It's not a figment of your imagination. It's the presupposition of your attention and your action. And you're either fragmented, in which case you worship multiple gods, or there's some unity at the bottom of it that makes you an unstoppable force.
Okay, so you're saying that you don't believe something if you wouldn't die for it?
Not really, no.
Okay. So then
How would you
he's
define belief?
fucked
Something
up.
you say?
Can I explain? Like, I could believe it is the case that this pen exists, but if someone like threatened my life, right, I would lie in order to be able to save my life, right? Like, I think you would do that too. You wouldn't lie to save your
Don't be
life?
so sure.
You wouldn't lie to save your life?
He's
How
trying to
much do you know
flex.
about me? I didn't lie to save my career. I didn't lie to save my clinical practice.
Would you lie to like save your children, your mom, your dad?
I don't think lying would save them.
No, can there ever be a circumstance logically that lying could save someone?
Yeah, and if
Is
you're
this that
steeped in sin, you're
Jubilee
likely to
bullshit?
live in circumstances
Yes.
like that.
Yes.
I'll give you an example. If you're like
100% it is.
in like Nazi Germany, and it is the case that there's
That's
like Jewish
funny.
people in your attic, and you're trying
I
to
know
protect
the
them,
example.
would you lie to like the Nazis? If
I
they're
would have
asking?
done everything I bloody well could, so I wouldn't be in that situation
you
to begin
lie?
with. It's a hypothetical, and it's
You
not
can't answer
answerable.
hypotheticals.
No, I can't answer a hypothetical like
What?
that because
Did
it's
you eat
far.
today?
Look,
Did you eat
don't
today?
play games.
I'm not playing.
It means
Yeah,
your
listen.
parents moved to Canada
Yeah,
so
listen,
they wouldn't
listen,
have to
listen.
deal with
Yo,
that
hold up.
bullshit.
This is what this shit is.
That's literally what that means.
Yeah, this is what this shit is right here, bro. Hold up.
So is it all just a bunch of fucking retards sitting around trying to get a gotcha on an internet celebrity?
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah, but he's fucking retarded too.
Well, yeah,
Pnoid.
it's Peterson. I mean, he's fizzled out, so who gives a fuck what he says?
Pino, do we need to ask Jordan Peterson the breakfast question?
I do believe. Right.
Let me ask you, what is the perfect breakfast? Me personally, I believe it's ground beef with eggs.
Lol.
Yo, just hold his gaze, bro. Hold his gaze. That's, bro, like, yo, that's all this shit is. It's like, yo, fierce gaze. Yo, fierce gaze. Right, yo, Jordan Peterson want to stand here and look tough towards this, like, fucking child and shit.
You think Jordan Peterson
Right.
wants to give him a firm handshake?
Yeah, he wants him to like have a good cover letter on his resume. You know what I'm saying, with like proper business
I'd like
cards.
to jerk your cock off. I'd like to jerk your cock off if you've got bloody pills.
He's not wearing a nice collared shirt. That's definitely negative points on the boomer scale.
I don't know, man. Listen, that's a nice sweater, though, man. That really is. That's a good sweater, you know. And he's clean shaven,
Yeah.
even though it looks like he probably can't grow any fucking facial hair. All right, now let's.
Is he maintaining eye contact though? That's
He is.
the thing.
He is maintaining eye contact. Listen, let's. Yo, look. Wait till you see the end of this. This
Look
is.
look at those deep, dark, hollow eyes stare into the dead, fucking drugged up eyes of Jordan Peterson.
Yo, watch how insane this debate gets.
Yeah, I'm just
Yes,
asking if you
you
ate
are.
it.
If you present me with an intractable moral choice that's stripped of context and you back me into a corner, you're playing game. I just told you
Hypothetical.
I would do everything that I could to make sure that I'm never in that situation. By the time you've got there, you've made so many mistakes that there's nothing you can do that isn't a sin.
Being born in Nazi Germany and trying to protect people that you care about, like there could be a Jewish friend that you have and you want to protect them.
I think you
you
should
have
just
them
give
in your
up on
attic.
that line of
Pinoid,
questioning.
Give
real
up on
quick,
just like trying to clarify your position.
Yeah.
Shut up!
Hold on. What is it with these faggots and their obsession with Nazi Germany?
All right.
Can we stop with
Hold
Nazi
up. Yo, listen. I agree, Mexican. I do. But like the thing is Jordan Peterson he said, listen, he asked Jordan Peterson, do you believe in God, right? And Jordan Peterson defined believe. And he said, do you think that is a thing? He said, no. Jordan Peterson goes, no, with his angry gaze. He's like, you believe. If you believe in something, you'll die for it, right? And like fucking, then they get in like his whole lying thing, right? Where he's like, well, like, you know, fucking, he's like, well, you know, you can say that like this pen is blue, right? That's right here. But like, if you put a gun to my fucking head and told me it's red, I'm gonna lie and say it's red. And he goes, no, I would never lie. I fucking don't lie because that's the last thing I would ever do. Because if I have a belief, I fucking die for it. I believe that fucking pen, right? He said like, so like, listen, do you?
Any Star Trek fans? Any Star Trek fans? There are only 4 lights.
Yo,
Star Trek is for
There-
faggots.
There are
Star Trek's
5
gay.
lights.
Trannies like Star
I know.
Right.
I know, but like, I'm not gonna pretend like faggots don't fucking hang around you.
Right.
Dude, Willie's
Listen,
in the chat.
Like trannies, I get it. Stop about this.
Yo, but
this is why you're divorced.
yeah, I'm
because you love
saying,
trannies.
like, and then he asked him. He said, "Listen, would you lie to save yourself, to save your own life?" And he goes, "I would never
Fuck
fucking
yeah, I
put
would."
myself in that situation, right?" And then, like, he goes, "Well, what if you were in Nazi Germany and, like, you had Jews under your fucking floorboards or whatever? Like, would you lie to protect your fucking Jew friends in Nazi Germany, right?" Like, because it's just in general, like, this is just
the risk to begin with.
This is the prototypical hypothetical, right? You know what I'm saying? This is just the perfect hypothetical for the situation. And he's like, he said, "You don't fucking understand, son. I would never put myself in that situation in the first place. Because at that point, I've made so many goddamn mistakes where I have Jews under my floorboards," right?
I mean, let's be real, dude. Imagine how big of a mistake New York made to have Jews under their concrete sidewalks to the point where they're crawling out of sewer grates.
Yo, watch this,
I didn't know
bro.
Jordan did that.
This shit is fucking retarded.
Because you added no content to the answer by
retarded,
substituting the word true and believe.
I said you think it to be true.
All right. So if
What's
you
a belief?
believe something, you stake your life on it.
What do you mean by that?
You live for it, and
This
you
is
die for it.
semantics.
That's what I mean by that. It isn't something that you say. It isn't something that's associated with logical consistency. It's not declarative. It's not propositional. It's not a figment of your imagination. It's
believe in
the
the front
presupposition of your attention
Exactly.
and your action. And you're either fragmented, in which case you worship multiple gods, or there's some unity at the bottom of it that makes you an unstoppable force.
Okay, so you're saying that you don't.
Nobody
believe-
mentioned
What
multiple
the
gods.
fuck is he
That was
talking
fucking
about?
weird.
What is he talking
That
about?
was fucking weird, huh?
Yo, listen
You
again.
think he just finished watching The Mummy where the guy pulls up all the religious symbols and that's stuck in his brain?
What is he talking about, bro? Like, yo, hold up, bro. Yo, let's finish up this little part right here.
Believe something if you wouldn't die for it? Is that
Not
what you're-
really, no.
Okay. So then,
How would you define belief? Something you say?
Okay, so I explain. Like, I could believe it is the case that this pen exists, but if someone like threatened my life, right, I would lie in order to be able to save my life, right? Like, I think you would do that too. You wouldn't lie to save your
Don't
life.
be so sure.
Playing with definitions.
You wouldn't lie to save your life.
How much do you know about me? I didn't lie to save my career. I didn't lie to save my
Y'all don't know
clinical
me,
practice.
nigga. You
Would
don't
you
know
lie to
Jordan.
save your children, your mom, your
You don't know me.
Big Blood Peterson, motherfucker.
Like, yo, hold up.
Yeah,
Hold
you
up.
can
mean-
act somebody.
Listen,
JP Worldwide.
Larry, you were lobster. How the fuck you get so swell, bro? Listen, yo.
dad.
I don't think lying would save them.
Can there ever be a circumstance logically that lying could save someone?
Yeah, and if you're steeped in sin, you're likely to live in circumstances like that.
I'll give you an example. If you're like in like Nazi Germany, and it is the case that there's like Jewish people in your attic and you're
I
trying to
know
protect
the
them,
example.
would you lie to like the Nazis? If
I
they're
would have
asking?
done everything I bloody well could, so I wouldn't be in that
Bullshit.
Would
situation
you
to
lie?
begin with. It's a hypothetical.
Yeah, listen, he would have turned the Jews in. You know what I'm saying? He'd have done everything he could not to be in that situation. You'd be like, bro, yo, got to go.
Oh, I would have done it too, but that's just because I would have had Hitler's back.
Apparently, JP do it too, bro. You know, like,
You know what? Jordan Peterson's kind of cool then. I kind of like the guy.
yo, hold up, bro. Like, yo, we gotta hear this again.
Okay, so you're saying that you don't believe something if you wouldn't die for it? Is that
Not
what you're-
really, no.
Okay. So then,
How would you define belief? Something you say?
Okay, so I explain. Like, I could believe it is the case that this pen exists, but if someone like threatened my life, right, I would lie in order to be able to save my life, right? Like, I think you would do that
Well,
too.
that
You
says
wouldn't
more
lie to save
about
your
you
life.
than it does about the pen, doesn't
You wouldn't
it,
lie to save your
son?
life.
How much do you know about me? I didn't lie to save my career. I didn't lie to save my clinical
Keep it
practice.
real, son.
Would you lie to like
pen
save
is
your children,
gay,
your mom,
Paco.
your dad?
I don't think lying would save them.
No, can there ever be a circumstance logically that lying could save someone?
Yeah, and if you're steeped in sin, you're likely to live in circumstances like that.
I'll give you an
That's
example.
right.
If you're like in like Nazi Germany, and it is the case that there's like Jewish people in your attic and you're trying
I
to
know
protect
the
them,
example.
would you lie to like the Nazis? If
I
they're
would have
asking?
done everything I bloody well could, so I wouldn't be in that situation
you
to
lie?
begin with. It's a hypothetical.
I've turned in my neighbor so fast.
Listen, I turned them motherfuckers in. Like, yo, fuck them Jews, nigga.
I would have had screwed to
Turn them
the
in. turn them in, get my first ticket to the States, and nope,
I would have had a
fucking
picture
nope.
Dance with Adolf. I turned in so many fucking
He's
Jews.
like,
I have a medal.
do you know me? Yo, I'm an Anglo, all right? I don't give a fuck about the Jews, nigga.
Peterson.
I'd marry the first American that raped me.
I bloody well would have been washing the Nazis' cocks, fellas. Like, yo, this motherfucker.
I'd be shining Hitler's boots so fast it'd make your head spin, son. You don't understand. I'd look him dead in the eyes and give him my resume with the great cover letter. Give him a firm handshake.
Yo, that's
That's Jordan Peterson right there, baby. Getting down.
Jordan,
the lobsters.
Jordan Peterson, bro. Like, legit. Right here.
That's a dumbbell.
Ridiculous.
I don't know why he went down that line of questioning either. He could have just gone with like the David Hume shit.
We need the ghetto Jordan Peterson. We need Big Blood Peterson. That's what we need.
Yo.
Oh my god.
Yo, bro. Listen, I'm telling you, that is Jordan Peterson's new music right there, bro. Legit.
I mean, I understand that he's trying to like hold very strongly to like Christian doctrine. Like that's the point of what he's getting at, but
that is the dumbest shit ever, bro. Like nobody thinks that way though.
I know, but it's
truth.
like
which one? Mine, damn it.
It's like the martyrs of Christianity, right? The people that died for like their belief in God is very important to their religion, and it's heavily emphasized in like all churches.
Well, yeah, but Christianity's a death cult, just like every other fucking religion.
But
he's like, yo, fuck it, bro. Like, y'all motherfuckers all just want to die. Like, legit. Like, it's like the Muslims, bro. Like, motherfucking Americans don't understand it. Like, Muslims like come out here. Like, we were like, bro, we're gonna come over there. We're gonna fucking kill you. So you gonna kill me? I'm gonna kill me. Like, listen, I'll kill my kids, nigga. You don't know?
I'm the Muslim Jordan Peterson. You don't understand. I'll never put myself in that situation. I'm already dead.
Hey, have you watched your cock, Bubbo? Like, yeah, listen. Yo. Bro, like, yo, Jordan Peterson's out of his goddamn mind. Listen, I don't want to, like, this black chick, hold up. This black chick, a little smoke show, hold up. We're gonna check out the black chick real quick.
Generates instead of moving towards the aim.
Right.
Okay,
So we're talking about within a system. That when we talk about something being moral, right, just absolutely moral, it means that without a system, right, this thing is simply moral with no reason. Like, stands independent, this thing is good. So I'm trying to figure out if such thing can exist. And if so, do you believe that these...
Yo, hold up. What is up with the fucking Puerto Rican heroin addict hanging out?
Who the fuck is that homo?
Yo, he's an assassin.
Kill him. You better not break rank. You better not break rank, boy. I'll kill you. You better say it, Gordon. You better say you wouldn't put yourself in that situation.
Stay in your lane, son.
I'll keep you with the plate master, girl.
That motherfucker came in with a guitar case. You know what I'm saying?
Yo, that's a Miami pimp who runs a bunch of fives.
He does look like one of the mariachis from that movie. You're right.
Yo, bro got a kilo up his ass right now. I promise.
Motherfucker looks Hispanic at the disco.
Yo, he looks fucking Mexican in Mexico. You know what I'm saying? Like, yo, he in Mexico. You're like, bro, you don't gotta be so Mexican. Like, calm the fuck down, dog.
No, bro.
To Miami.
He looks Colombian in Colombia. That's how bad this motherfucker is.
God damn, son. Legit. Like, he would stand out in Puerto Rico.
I missed it. Does he I missed it. Does he have the curly shoes?
I don't know. It's not showing the shoes. If he has the curly boots, it's over, bro.
Yo, look at
He has
the
the elf
tattoo. Look at the fucking he has a spider tattoo on his goddamn fucking head and shit. That nigga is a Black Widow, bro. Yeah, he is a fucking hitter. Yo, look at the scars on his face.
Look at his shirt. Look at his fucking shirt. That is the gaudiest fucking most cartel shirt I've ever seen in my life.
I think that's Peterson's bodyguard, and he's just like, oh, homeboy's losing it.
Bro, listen.
Yeah, man, this is what I do.
He's wondering.
That's
if he
what
has
his
to
shirt
scream-
says.
He's wondering if he has to scream a racial slur to give him a break.
Nah,
Hey,
yo,
you-
listen,
you
yo,
better
that
defend my
is,
Jesus.
yo, that's JP's plug right there. You know what I'm saying? Like, yo, he got a whole pocket full of Xannies for him.
Dude, look. Can you zoom in on his face? Can you zoom in on his face?
Mm-hmm. Kind of zoom in.
On his face, yeah.
Hold up. Maybe? I don't know.
That's the look they make when they don't bring the salsa with the chips at a Mexican restaurant.
Yeah, look at that look he's giving you, like, que pedo, que puto. All I see is like, que puto. Look at that fool's face. He's like looking at him like, este way. Look
I
at
brought
him.
the chips, but no salsa. The fuck?
Look at that fool's face. Like, he's just not having it. Look at him. He's like, man, I'm about to chank you, fool. I'm about to chank you, man.
You're like, all these fucking white people in here fucking talking all this retarded shit. Where the fuck the party at, man?
Like,
Yeah,
fucking
Pete, just give me the word. I shanked the fool.
A black girl, she looking pretty good, Holmes. I'm about
Yeah,
to
that's
get
actually that actually is what he's thinking. He's like, oh,
Yeah.
It looks like he's waiting
I
for
would
his
totally
probation
respect that
officer.
all.
I don't know, dude. If I saw that fool at the bar, I'd keep away from him.
I agree. All right, listen, this is all right, so this is the really good one. Hang on, that's
My God, what
Or
the fuck
something
is
like
that?
that.
Like,
Christian.
Well,
but to be like a full Christian, how can someone say I am Christian? Like I am Christian, not 8/12, but Christian.
pretty though.
Well,
No, that's his daughter.
I
That's
hesitate
his
to
daughter
do
in
that
makeup.
personally because I think it's the kind of goal that you be very careful about
really,
proclaiming.
really
the
shiny.
technical-
But belief
That's
is
a
not
lot
necessarily
of
to be
fucking
mostly
cocoa
Christian.
butter.
Belief is not necessary.
I bet she
8/12 's
smells
Look
good
at those
as fuck.
lights
You know,
off her
Well,
face.
it depends on what
She
you
looks
mean
like
by
Felicia.
belief, because I would say that acting out the pattern is the deepest form of belief. Now, you could add to that what you say. So, maybe in the optimal situation, how you act and what you imagine and what you say, they're the same. Right? But you can imagine a hypocrite who says all sorts of wonderful things and does nothing. And you could imagine another person who acts in a very positive manner but proclaims nothing.
So what I'm kind of seeing is like a descriptive, a really comprehensive but descriptive analysis of
Like, homeboy,
human
you're the
action,
professional
human
here.
thought,
Like,
and
don't be
by
so
which we
pissy.
can characterize people and put people in boxes. But I don't see
Why in boxes?
like when I say in
Why is
boxes, I
she
mean
so
like I can
fucking
categorize you based on your
shiny?
actions, not based on
Shut up!
because like she's sweating and she got cocoa butter. It smells really good. That's why.
So we can categorize
Exactly.
people as
What's the
such.
shea
Well, I
butter?
would say more or less voluntarily self-sacrificing.
But that's also what we came to though is that someone can be like 60% or 70% Christian based on simply just acting in that
Yeah,
way.
Richard Dawkins is like that.
I watched that debate.
Why does she look like AI on my screen?
Very good.
Thank you so much.
Really, very thoughtful.
Honestly, like that looked like a weird fucking insert.
Hey, Dr. Peterson.
How you doing?
Danny, nice to meet you.
What's your name?
This is where-
Danny.
Dan.
You're saying atheists worship things or people or places, whatever. Can you be very clear about your definition of worship again?
Andy,
No,
I'd like
it's
to
just
wash the AIDS off my head right now.
Prioritize and
Yo, look at his
sacrifice.
demeanor change. He sees like some dude who looks like
That's
a
your
fucking pump
understanding
kid,
of worship.
and it's back
Well,
to
I
the
can
like
flesh it out, but
the
that'll do
fucking
for the
hold the
time we have.
gaze, hold the gaze.
I'm
Catholics attend to
gonna
Mary.
school you, Dad, and then
yes.
it's like
Okay.
then it's not.
So
and
do
then
they
these
fit that
kids.
Yo, he was
description of
all
worship?
nice to the black chick, and now it's like
So
a
we
dude
would
here.
say
And he's like,
Catholics and
fierce
other
gaze,
people that
fierce
revere
gaze.
Mary, like the Eastern Orthodox tradition, worship Mary.
Well, they
Fierce
might not put her in
gaze.
the highest
But you would
place.
put it that way.
No.
You just said it. Now you're taking it back
There's
now?
still
That's
a
gotta be a
hierarchy.
catchphrase.
Okay, there's a hierarchy, but within the
There's
low-
something at the top.
All right, you can worship things
Mary
below.
is quite a ways up the hierarchy, but not at the top.
Let's go over your definition of worship again. What's your definition of worship?
Attend to.
Attend to.
Prioritize.
Do Catholics
sacrifice for?
What do Catholics attend to? Do they prioritize Mary over all other human beings?
No, I didn't say overall, did I? I didn't add that to my definition.
You understand?
I said there was a hierarchy as well.
You attend to
So you can attend to something trivially, or you can attend to it deeply.
Okay, now you're adding stuff to the definition. But your original definition.
All religions have hierarchy.
Beginning.
Are you
Just
familiar?
didn't understand it.
Are you familiar with the Immaculate Conception?
Why is that relevant?
Because you go to a Catholic church, don't you? Or you've attended recently. You're interested in Catholicism, aren't you?
Sure.
All right. Are you familiar with their doctrines?
Somewhat.
Okay, you're
Their
familiar.
doctrines are very
how do they
deep.
regard Mary?
Why are you asking me that?
Because you're a Christian.
You say that. I haven't claimed that.
Oh, what is this? Is this Christians versus atheists?
I don't know.
You don't know where you are right now.
Don't be a smartass.
Well,
and I mean
either you're a
'cause I
Christian
won't
or you're
talk
not.
to you if you're a smartass.
Oh, either you're
My
a Christian
bloody
or you're not. Which one
pills.
is it?
I could be either of them, but I don't have to tell you.
You don't have to tell me. I was under the impression. I was
this
invited
dude knew
to
what he
talk to
was
a
walking
Christian. Am I
into.
not talking to a
Let's
Christian?
not pretend
No, you
that
were
that's not true.
invited to.
I think everyone should look at the title of the YouTube channel. You're probably in the wrong YouTube video.
You're really quite something. You are.
Aren't I? But you're really quite nothing. Right? You're not a Christian.
Okay, I'm done with you.
Yo, listen. Yo, bro. Yo.
Yo, that kid was just trying to promote his fucking gay OnlyFans channel. He went and
I'm
made a
fucking
separate
fine with it.
video,
Do you have an issue with it?
I don't like fags like that.
No, I mean, like, I don't like facts like that, but he's got the right to do what he's gonna do.
No. Like, he dug in his ass, though. Like, yo,
no,
legit.
Well, he mean mogged him, but I don't know if it was like totally substantive. Like, especially because I don't think Peterson knows quite a bit about like Christian theology.
No, listen,
No,
Chris, listen, no. Jordan Peterson 100% knows, right? Being raised as a Protestant in fucking Canada, he 1,000,000% knows about like the fucking Catholics and their like fucking their love and worship of Mary.
He said that he was an atheist growing up. I don't know, like maybe, but like
no.
Catholic,
All right, listen. All right, so let me explain something to you. So like, fucking, there's two things, right, that like Protestants complain about when they talk about Catholics, right? And in particular, back in the day, it's Mary and the Pope, right? You know, I mean, they talk about their popery, right? And I mean, them and their goddamn popery, right? And then like fucking, they fucking worship Mary, fucking the fucking idolaters and all that type of shit, right? That's literally like a fucking big thing with the Protestants. And it used to be much bigger, like when Catholics were like, when religion was more important, you know what I mean? It's what they said about like the Irish and the Italians and, you know what I mean, the Spanish and whoever it was.
Sure, but like most Catholics don't claim that they worship Mary, from what I understand. Like,
No.
They claim that they use her as intercession.
Yeah, 1,000,000%. But like the Protestants use that, right? It's just like, you know, most Catholics aren't pedophiles, right? When we talk about the Catholic Church, it's the first thing that's brought up. You know what I mean?
Sure.
You feel what I'm saying?
Well,
so Jordan knows. Like Jordan 100, because like, you know, fucking the Catholics, they count the rosary out and say Hail Marys and shit, you know what I mean, like make up for sins. It's like when you go to confession, right, you know what I mean, like they give you penance that you have to do, which I think is based, you know what I mean, like if you go fuck up, you should probably, like, you know, not so much be punished, but at minimum, like, you'll have something you have to do to make up for it. It shouldn't just be like, oh, listen, you know what I did? I hit a fucking kid on a bike yesterday on the way home from work. God, please forgive me for that. Oh, thank you. And I'm done. You know, that probably shouldn't be how that works. You know what I'm saying? Right? You should probably have to make up for like hitting a kid on a fucking bicycle. You know what I mean?
Yeah, in a way that actually makes sense instead of like it seems very arbitrary.
I got hit on a bicycle.
Yeah. Right. And I mean, that tends to be, you know what I mean? Like, so Mary is like a big thing when it comes to like the Protestants and shit. And I mean, they bitch about it all the goddamn time. Right. But that kid just smoked fucking Jordan Peterson. Like, real shit. Just smoked him. Right. He's like, oh, you're quite something. Yeah, but you're nothing. Like, yo, fucking, you refuse to admit you're a fucking Christian. Right. When you're over here defending Christian doctrine.
He's very. That's something that's very interesting. Is that he is genuinely very, very scared to admit that he's a Christian. But
Yeah,
like people have like got it out of him. Like
I don't think anybody.
There
did.
was one guy who got him to admit that like Jesus actually resurrected, like materially resurrected. Like somebody got him to say that. I don't know. I don't.
Yeah, but
like,
he
I don't know what
also
goes
thinks
on in his mind.
Pinocchio pulled his dad out of a whale, though. You know what I mean?
I mean, if you haven't watched his series on that, that's a little. I thought his analysis of the Disney shit was actually pretty. It was good, right?
Yeah, we thought it was
goes
good
to
back
old
in the
tales,
day.
but
Don't go back and watch it.
back
now.
in the day-
you'll stop liking it.
You think?
Yes.
Mm-hmm. Why? Because the gay kid mean mugged him?
No, because we've gotten smarter since then.
Mm. I don't know. I don't think he's doing a good job making his points today.
I don't think he's
just off his
answering
game.
anybody's fucking questions or having any real like conversations or debates. He's just standing here trying to like maul fucking kids like a retard and then run the clock out till they're fucking, you know what I mean, like sent on their way while he tries to like intimidate them with his 1,000-yard stare.
Yeah,
With
he's
his
not having
crack
a real
jaw?
discussion. It's like not making sense.
Yeah, because he
But,
can't make any sense because like he doesn't have a side to stand on. As my man said, he's nothing.
You know who watches this show, Bucko? Ben Shapiro.
Yo, listen, this
I
has
can't say
4
these
million
things.
fucking views on this goddamn video.
Oh, then Ben definitely saw it. Fuck, I'm gonna get fired.
Listen, yo, real shit. James Lindsay got his head caved in. Fucking Jordan Peterson's getting his fucking head caved in. Like, yo, Matt Walsh, I think, bounced, right? Like, listen, I feel like fucking Ben Shapiro is just getting eaten up. You know what I mean? I think Ben even got clapped here recently. And on top of that, Kanye's out here screaming nigga Hail Hitler and shit, you know?
Well, that was just one day. Everybody forgot already.
No, they did not. But YouTube's trying to
I've heard
memory
more
hold
about
it. Google's trying as best they can.
I don't think it even happened.
It's true. God damn it. Fuck Mountain. You convinced me. Let's keep going.
Hi there.
Hi, nice
What's
to meet
your
you.
name?
Gerard.
Hello, Gerard.
Nice to meet you, sir. So you've said that worship is when you prioritize and sacrifice for something, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
But there's a hierarchy in there.
Sure. So I prioritize and sacrifice for my wife more than I would prioritize and sacrifice for a random
How does
person
he
on the
have a
street,
wife?
right?
Probably.
How
Presumably.
often does she
Do I
fuck?
worship
I don't know.
my
I've
wife?
seen some pretty bad.
He doesn't.
Pretty bad marriages.
Assuming a good marriage, are you saying I worship my wife?
I'm trying to define worship.
Well, that's what I'm asking. So prioritize and sacrifice. I do
The
those
higher
things.
it is in the hierarchy, the more what you're doing is akin to worship. But even in your trivial acts of attention, you're prioritizing and partaking in worship, even if you don't know it.
So I am
And it's
prioritizing.
partly, well, with regard to your wife, say. So why do you value your wife? You do value your
Yes,
wife.
I love
okay.
her. So I
Right,
prioritize and I
okay.
sacrifice for her.
Right. So that's within the confines of love, let's say.
Sure.
What else does it serve?
What else?
Well, she's also the only one that's ever touched his dick, you know what I mean? And like she probably like tries
Right.
you know, she overlooks that giant
No.
scar on the side of his head and that Cro-Magnon ass forehead he has.
Bro, his wife is like a fucking long pillow. It's like a Japanese clothing.
Got an anime pillow waifu. His wife is made of TPE. Like,
Oh, you thought it was an actual human being? No, that's not happening anymore. Like, welcome to this.
That's why they had to
I'm
cut his
gonna be
fucking head
nice
open.
I'm gonna be nice and say that she just keeps him warm in the winter.
God damn. You're saying she's a fat chick? Listen, that is the new standard right now. Like everywhere I go, there's like this fucking cute fat chick with like a fucking, you know what I mean, like a solidly trimmed, good shape fucking regular dude. You know what I mean? That's literally like just everywhere I fucking go now. That's just the norm.
Fuck all that.
Yeah, I feel you.
What else does what
I mean,
serve?
you were perpetuating that pretty hard.
Yeah, no. See, what I'm doing is just fucking broads, all right? I'm not keeping them.
Well, no, I mean with General Chief, you were, you were like perpetuating him to go and fuck fat Jews.
Well, yeah, because
that's-
it was funny.
Okay, it was pretty funny.
Yeah, listen, I only do things sometimes because they're funny. And then other times I do things because they make sense. And sometimes they make sense and they're funny at the same time, which is what happened with General Chief. You know what I mean? It's just like telling fucking Hoops he's developed a crack habit. You know what I mean? because it would just like make more sense. You can meet more women that way, you know? It's funny, and on top of that, it makes sense. And you'd have a much more fun lifestyle and shit. All right, yeah. Listen, we're gonna skip to the next joint. They're gonna clap me again.
My final claim is that atheists accept Christian morality, but deny the religion's foundational stories. Hi there.
It's very nice to meet you.
What's
I'm
your
Ian.
name?
I'm Ian.
Hi, Ian.
Yes. So God says that you can own people as property. He says that you can beat them with a rod too. He commands genocide in Deuteronomy, in Numbers, and in.
Yo, listen. I feel like they're sandbagging a bit here. You know what I mean? Because like, yo, my man is actually retarded.
Oh no.
What?
No, he is. Like, he's just, I'm gonna say everything I ever knew about everything, like right now.
Let me tell you, slavery bad. Okay, slavery is bad.
Then I'll
right
ask
now.
you the question.
Slavery bad. Because slavery, the Bible says slavery, okay? But slavery bad because our teacher told me, okay? Teacher told me slavery bad. She gave me crayons and she colored pencils and coloring book, and life was good. Okay, because this is slavery bad. My teacher said that, and she's nice, and she let me see her titties one time.
And Samuel. I mean, they have a goddamn baby barbecue.
I'll give him a chance. Ian is brilliant. You'll see.
In Numbers, like, is all of this in line with Christian ethics?
No.
So then God doesn't fit within Christian ethics.
Well, the biblical
gotcha,
library
bitch.
is a continuing story, and everything written in it has to be contextualized by the entire text. There's
Fatherless
65,000 hyperlinks in the biblical text. And you can take pieces of it out.
I don't remember the Bible coming with hyperlinks, bro. I was in church. You know what I'm saying? There was no hyperlinks in the Bible.
There aren't, but you can imagine them.
I can
How
imagine them.
everything is
I have
interrelated.
imaginary hyperlinks.
Yeah, you can visualize them.
I can visualize
Because-
the hyperlinks. What?
Well, you know what a hyperlink is.
Yeah, they're
It's
like blue
You
underlined.
click on it because it's a reference. What he's obviously saying is a metaphor for
Yeah.
referencing other material. Come on, man. Don't be Ian. Don't be Ian.
Like, what, bro? The footnotes. Footnotes, though. I believe what you're looking for there is footnotes. Pretty sure. No, I mean, like, listen, they're not hyperlinks. I mean, I guess like all these people read the Bible online now. I mean, I didn't know that we were on that. You know, what I mean, I assumed everybody had a paper Bible still.
Well, listen, Ian, you gotta skibbity to the toilet because Jesus said, "Oh God, for real, for real."
Yo, just stick your, you gotta stick your guy out for the Rizzler, Ian.
Yeah. Out of context.
Moses
and
said,
criticize
"Choco,
them and
choco, chip." Boom factor, you know.
Yo, you Sigma in Ohio, Ian? You washed your Sigma?
That's what you're doing. But that's a mistake, I think. It's an analytic mistake because you're putting the cart before the horse.
I really don't think so. I think
Yeah,
that
no,
if
you
we say that something is Christian ethics, then I think that all of the books essential to Christianity would fit with it, especially if it's like the main character. When we're talking
How
about
do you deal with
God,
the morality of war?
So-
how do you think you should deal with the morality of war?
Sure. Because I feel like
Shut up,
the
super theater
morality,
fag.
like I feel like Christian ethics, like this is kind of, I guess I just think it's like kind of an absurdity to say that God doesn't fit within Christian ethics. But sure, well, we can go on my ethics. That's totally fine.
I don't know what you mean by an absurdity. What game are you playing with
Well,
that
I just think
question?
that it's an absurdity to say that the Christian God doesn't fit within Christian ethics. That like the Christian
I
God
didn't
isn't
say
like
that.
Christian
I
ethical.
said that the specific statements that you made don't take the context of the stories into account, and so that your analytical approach is faulty.
Sure.
Don't put words in my mouth.
Sure, then let's go through
Thank
the
you.
example. Yeah. So, and I apologize. So let's go.
I'm sorry. I'll
Don't
put my
put words
dick
in
in your
my
mouth.
mouth.
Ooh.
Don't don't you put words in my mouth, boy.
You shouldn't.
He's
You shouldn't
like
put
the
your cock
fucking
in my
his
mouth.
fake tough guy bullshit, bro. Like real shit. Like a dude needs to come on. Like, bro, say that shit again, bro. Like, yo, listen, I'll slap the fucking taste out your mouth. Just see if he says it
Maybe.
again. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but Ian is about as masculine as, like, Dory from that fucking fish cartoon.
Yo, you fucking, yo, you sick man, no Ohio, Ian. You watched your Sigma?
You watched your Sigma? You watched your Sigma? You watched your Sigma? You watched your Sigma? You watched your Sigma? You watched your Sigma? You watched your Sigma? You watched your Sigma? You watched your Sigma? You watched your Sigma? You watched your Sigma? You watched your Sigma? You watched your Sigma? You watched your Sigma? You watched your Sigma? You watched your Sigma? You watched your Sigma? You watched your Sigma? You watched your Sigma? You watched your Sigma? You watched your Sigma? You watched your Sigma? You watched your Sigma? You watched your Sigma? You watched your Sigma? You watched your Sigma? You watched your Sigma? You watched your Sigma? You watched your Sigma? You watched your Sigma? You watched your Sigma? You watched your Sigma? You watched your Sigma? You watched your Sigma? You watched your Sigma? You watched your Sigma Finding Nemo. That's it.
Yeah, you run that fish
Tell you a
cartoon,
story.
Finding Nemo. I knew the cartoon you were talking about. Like, I saw the blue fish in my head. Like, her was like,
Yeah,
fucking
yeah.
some
It
shit
took me a
about,
second.
like, fucking some type of way or some shit. You know what I mean?
Yeah, bro, look, it's 4 in the
7854374, like, Seminole Way or whatever the fuck it was. You know what I mean?
My electrical signal is a little faulty right now. It's like 4 in the fucking morning.
I fucking agree, dog. I fucking agree. It's fucking funny, though.
Go through the example. So in 1 Samuel 15:3, God says, "Go and slaughter the Amalekites, slaughter the men, the women, the children, the infants." What's the justification for that? Is that in line
That's a
with
good
Christian
question.
ethics?
That's a good question. I don't really know what to do with the terrible, blood-soaked, saturated history of the human past. I don't know. And I don't think anybody knows. I mean, what you try to do in your own life, as far as I can tell, is to conduct yourself in a manner that makes such things much more unlikely.
I totally agree.
Yo, fierce gaze. Fierce gaze.
We're all saddled with the problem of the catastrophes that got us here, aren't we?
Yeah, but this one was commanded by God. That's the problem.
Yeah,
That's
well-
what differentiates it from anything else, is that this one, it's God
Do you
saying,
think that
go
there's
and
ever
do this
such a thing?
atrocity.
Do you think that there's ever such a thing as a righteous war?
I'm skeptical. I'm not sure. It would probably be situational.
Well, right, fair
Yeah,
enough.
but
I
this
mean,
one
people,
certainly wasn't a just war. The context for the Amalekite slaughter is that 400 years earlier, they fought one battle, which they lost, and God says, that's it, I'm going to wipe them off the face of the goddamn earth. And then 400 years later, he commands the Israelites to genocide their great-great-great-great-great-great-grandchildren. That's not a just war at all. And also, a genocide is not a war.
well, a genocide can be a war, but
Absolutely not.
Look.
The genociding of the Amalekites, the men, the women, and the infants, that's not a war. The infants aren't combatants.
look, I already,
I mean,
So-
they will be one day. They will be combatants. I'm just saying.
Oh,
you know
yeah.
what I mean?
Well, 100%, but also like, well, this whatever the fuck this guy's name is, this fucking Ethan retard. This guy doesn't know shit about war.
He's
But
brilliant.
He's a brilliant guy, bro. He's fucking brilliant. Bro. I don't know what you're talking about.
But,
He's the smartest guy I've ever heard. Right, this guy's like fucking the best dude who I've ever heard in the history of humans.
Yo,
right?
put some fucking respect on that man's name. That's Ian, motherfucker.
It's fucking Ian. Look at look at his fucking yarmulke mark. Why aren't you having respect for him?
Yo, all the
Somebody-
bitches
you could've
curtsy
brought
at
that
him
up.
when he comes backstage and he gets his tights on.
yeah, no, but especially like in the any agricultural civilization, targeting like civilian infrastructure is extremely important. It was remarkably useful, particularly for the Mongols and the Anglos.
I mean, it worked out well for the Iranians too. You know what I mean? When they fucking sacked fucking Babylon. I feel you. You know what I mean? But yeah, listen. We're gonna
Yeah,
skip
like
ahead
sometimes you gotta pull a
and
genocide to make get the job done.
we're gonna skip ahead to the next dude because like this guy's boring me.
Jordan, nice to meet you.
very zippy. What's your name?
I'm Liam.
Hi, Liam. How you doing?
I'm doing well. How are you?
Not too bad.
This guy looks like
Surrounded by
Boomhauer with hair.
atheists.
My
No,
question
Dale
to
Gribble
you.
with hair.
Let me scoot in.
He looks like he
would
fucking
be,
runs a fucking.
What does it mean to accept Christian?
Yo, this guy looks like he runs like a ham radio show out of a van in the desert. Yo, look at this dude, bro. Look at him. Yo, he looks like fucking. Yo, he looks like Mike Metzger.
He's got like the modern hippie look, like the mullet and like the
No,
small mustache.
No, that's a conspiracy theorist look. That guy there 100% has all the evidence that the moon landing ain't real. You know what I mean? And that we're being like ran by reptilians at the moment, right?
That's the haircut you want if you want to be like the IT guy at your company.
Yo, you're not wrong, right? Or you want to be like a cab dispatcher or something. Like you want to be an Uber dispatcher, right? In other words, like unemployed.
See, that's the thing. That's the thing. They're one and the same. It's amazing, isn't it?
Yo, this dude 100%, you know what I mean? Like, yo, he has all the fucking dirt on Joe Rogan somewhere on a fucking hard drive. You know what I mean? Yo. Like, this guy is highly upset about the Epstein list not being released, right? This dude, like, yo, oh man, like, yo, fucking, yo, let's keep going.
Christian values precisely, or Christian morality.
It means to aim up as hard as you can, no matter what happens to you.
Fierce gaze, fierce gaze, fierce gaze.
Okay.
Okay.
So I think that that's a very broad definition of what Christian
Yeah, but it'll
morality
come
is.
in handy at some point in your life.
Right. But I think that many different like disciplines and theologies.
It'll
Well,
be
you
the
asked for
first
a
handy
truncated
I've ever
answer. I
had.
mean, there's other ways of representing the
Yeah.
situation, but I wanted to give you something that was kind of foundational briefly.
Yeah, that makes sense.
It doesn't mean it's, exhaustive.
Yeah.
I could say that you would have to believe that Christ is God and he died for your sins, right? But that's in a very difficult way to understand. That's the same claim.
Yeah. If there are other theologies and disciplines that have similar types of values, how then is that definition mean? Like, wouldn't those also be Christian values under your definition?
That's a good question. I spent a lot of time studying different religious systems from all over the world and found multiple interesting layers of concordance.
Right.
So, for example, in ancient Egypt, their god Horus, who was the reviving god of the totalitarian state, the corrupt
Concordance
he
is
was
a
the
good
god of
word.
attention. Right, and the Jews hypothetically came out of Egypt, and there was crosstalk between Egyptian and Jewish foundational morality, and then that bled into Christianity. I mean, human beings all over the world have come up with moral systems that fit roughly into a pattern, and they're very usefully studied. Now, I learned a lot about Christianity by studying Taoism, for example, like a lot. So I think you can make a case that Christianity formalized the landscape of good.
Or check us out. Human beings form morals from interacting with each other over time. Right, because we're fucking animals that interact with each other in similar ways, no matter like where we are and what language we speak. It's a fucking fascinating concept. You know what I'm saying? There are very few places on Earth, you know what I mean, where like literally, men and women don't like have sex, have babies, and then care for said babies. Other than maybe in the West where, like they have sex and then women go and murder the babies before they're born, right? There's very other few places in the world, that like, fucking do anything other than the normal way that human beings have lived for, 60 million years, something like that, 6 million, 10 million. I don't fucking know what the number is. I'm just putting that out there. You know what I mean?
Well, like, I think what a lot of like religious folk like get like hung up on when it comes to that is like if morality is just like what's effective at the moment for like continued survival, right, which is like a Darwinistic conception,
Yeah.
No, but
then,
I mean,
like, when it's not
humans,
like that.
Humans are pack creatures, though. They
So-
really are. Like,
Well, this is what I was getting at, like prior, like a little bit earlier, when it came to that whole like one male to every 17 females thing. Is that there's like a point is where what's considered like socially good behavior does not become effective, and particularly for a certain kind of person, right? And this is what most people describe as being elite. Being like socially cohesive and moral and proper is not really like very effective for the elite. So what a lot of these people get like hung up on is like, okay, well, when it's not effective, there appears to be like this intuition to do it anyways, even though it's not effective, it's not, promote your genes. So maybe there's like some inclination to a god from that. And maybe we need some creation of a god so people just don't act like selfishly all the time.
Well, no. All right, so like the creation of a god, and I explained this the other night. It was I had this crazy ass epiphany, right? Basically, what it is that you form religions over time, right? That write down like fucking long-term shit that's good for y'all, right? Basically, like, say like, again, we get back to like, we had like a swamp somewhere, right? And that swamp had like parasites in it, right? And like, yo, so you were supposed to like avoid that swamp. Well, like, you know what I mean? Like, after like a couple of motherfuckers die, you know what I mean, because of these parasites and discover it came from the swamp, you know what I mean? Because that's just like, you know, humans just made that like intuitive jump or logical jump, as it were, right? You know what I mean? They sat at the fire and they told their kids, like, yeah, don't go near the swamp, you'll fucking die. You know what I mean? And then those kids, you know what I'm saying, took that message and gave it to their fucking next kids, right? And then those kids, you know what I mean, took that message and maybe turned it into like a little bit of a fable, right? You know what I mean? About like how like their great-great-grandfather died at that swamp, you know what I mean, trying to save a baby or some shit, right? You know what I'm saying? Telephone game over generations. Right? You know what I mean? And then eventually it becomes like a religious practice when like, you know what I mean, they start going, oh, you know, like fucking we're gonna stand here and, you know, fucking you know, like fucking, you know, be thankful for like the first person who died and gave us this information and da 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 and all that type of stuff, right? And like, you know, there's going to be like these things that come along, and I mean that turn in the fucking religions, but those religions end up maintaining that long term because then you have a priest whose job it is to tell that, right? And all of a sudden the story becomes like fucking consistent, you know what I mean? And this works for like all things in morals, right? But everybody does this. It isn't Christianity. You know what I mean? This is everybody does this shit throughout history.
Well, sure, yeah. I mean, like most religious
Jews
people,
do it, the Muslims do it.
like
Chinese,
come to like
the
a similar
Japanese, the
conclusion.
Africans do it.
But,
You know what I mean?
but like it still doesn't really like answer the question of like what you ought to do when, you know, when your intuition, your moral intuition conflicts with like what is beneficial for you, right? And that's like what I see a lot of like modern day religious people get conflicted with now that like religion's been sort of like distant from culture for a little while. It's like this idea of like, well, morality isn't always going to be effective for me, right? And I want to be moral, so I need to create like some sort of like non-material conceptualization for it to justify morality. And that's how I believe most people, you know, fall into religion and try to justify it from like an argumentation perspective.
Yeah.
Welcome to the era of cope, son. This is the era of cognitive dissonance, man. We've been saying it for a minute.
Yeah, it actually
That's
is
real.
just kind of cope, right? At the end of the day.
It is cope.
You know what I mean? Like, it was
I
like,
mean, it
oh
is a
man,
lot of
listen,
cope.
like, I'm gonna go to religion, and like, and again, this is where we get back to like, you know, fucking like, where do we get these ideas from this religion, right? We got them 2,000 fucking years ago, 2,500. You know, what I mean, almost, you know, whatever it was, right? From, you know, fucking sand monkeys, you know what I mean, in like the fucking, you know, in the goddamn Levant, you know what I mean, right?
Where it used to have a use case, and that's been diminished in this iteration of a modern society.
Yeah, right. And so like literally we're using, you know what I mean, like fucking this Christian religion is the 2,500-year-old sand monkey religion, right? Sand monkey morals. And it's worked up until now, right? Because like, you know, again, you could have picked up anybody's fucking religion. You could have picked up Zoroastrianism and it fucking would have worked. You know what I mean? But like this one works really well because it's a slave religion, right? So that like it forces everybody to like stand here and try to act super duper moral, right? And you know what I mean, like bring the bottom up, you know what I mean, which allows like for, you know what I mean, like renewal of like the top and shit. You know what I mean?
My perception on it is this: if the Christian morals were really upheld by people that claim to have them, we wouldn't be consumerist in any way, shape, or form. People would live simply because they'd reject all the suffering that is involved in their comfort. But that shit ain't happening. So all they have is the only
You'd
place they
like
have
that.
to go is
You
to go.
you would like that, but that's not human nature, and that's the fucking bitch of it, huh?
Well, that makes the religion a misfit, right? Like the people who actually practice the religion correctly, you don't fucking hear from them. They're not on the internet. They probably don't have a cell phone because of a, on principle.
Yo, did I tell y'all recently? Did I tell y'all recently I kicked a religious guy off the internet?
Oh yeah.
The internet.
Yeah. I had to kick him off the internet.
You have a ban button for the internet and you didn't tell us?
Nah, listen.
Yeah, you need to share that around, bro.
Okay, yeah, listen, here's what happened, right? So there was like this this priest from like, or this pastor from Tennessee who came on and tried to like start talking about Morgan Wallen being like the modern day like fucking prophet of country music, right? And like,
well, that sounds gay to begin with.
Yeah,
Why'd
I
you fall for
agree.
that?
I agree. So I reached out to him, you know what I'm saying? I talked to him a little bit. And I said, hey, listen, you know, I mean, if you want to be a good Christian, right, you probably shouldn't be attracting, like, attention to yourself. You know what I'm saying? You also probably shouldn't be promoting, like, you know, fucking, like, goy slop culture. But, like, not just, you know what I mean, like, your fucking herd that you have, you know what I mean, that you're responsible for as, like, the fucking shepherd. You also probably shouldn't be promoting it to, like, the rest of society. Because Morgan Wallen, the vast majority of his music is about vagina and, like, fucking drinking. Right? You know what I mean? Which is probably not good for everybody's lifestyle. You know what I mean? Right? It's probably not good for, like, you know, Christians to, like, fucking be worshiping that type of fucking messaging. Right? And he said, man, listen, you're right. And I said, yeah, I know. You should probably get off the internet. He said, yeah, I think I'm gonna. Right? And then he left and he never came back. Right? You know what I mean?
Really?
Yeah.
Well,
because Christian pastors are fucking retarded.
It used to be.
Well, they do need to grow the flock and they do need to procreate. So why not be on the internet and, you know, sing about fucking? I mean, I don't see the problem.
I mean, that's always been my thing against the church, is that they advertise, and it's like, you know, if you have a good enough product, it doesn't have to advertise itself.
I think it would be better if it didn't advertise, I'll be honest with you. You know what I mean? Like, the whole proselytization thing is fucking retarded. Right? You know what I mean?
Yeah, that was my point. But,
Mr.
yeah.
Google, oh, by the way, Mr. Google, have you seen the fucking thing about maintenance in Africa? Has any of y'all seen that shit yet?
No, I don't think so.
Oh, listen, hold up, bro. Like, I'll tell you what, we're gonna leave this fucking joint because, like, I'm tired of watching it.
It's understandable.
Yeah, it's pissing me the fuck off. Alright, so check this shit out.
In just 43 seconds, William...
Hang on, bro. I want to watch this video. I want to watch, like, the original.
Trying to say that, from what I'm understanding, in third world countries, anything that is not under maintenance is because, you know, we don't care.
No, you care. It's not in the concept. Travel the 54 countries in Africa and ask each person in every country, what is wrong with your country? Leadership. Leadership. All of you say the same word. So let me ask you, since 1960, the country has been picking the wrong leader every 4 years. Not a single railway built by the British is in Nigeria today, but the one they built in their country that same year, it's still running. Not a single railway built in Ghana in 1960 is still there today. What do you know in that country that has been properly maintained by the people every day and it works perfectly?
It's hard for people to maintain things when they're not gaining a lot.
No. It's hard for people to maintain things when they don't have the concept of maintenance.
No, maintaining things is how you get people.
Maintenance?
What the fuck?
Maintenance is there's no direct
of maintenance in their culture. Being properly maintained by the people every day and it works perfectly.
Just keep your fucking mouth shut a second, all right?
It's hard for people to maintain things when they're not gaining a lot.
No. It's hard for people to maintain things when they don't have the concept of maintenance in their culture. What is the one word in Igbo for maintenance?
Maintenance is there's no direct English word for that. It doesn't translate directly to maintenance.
That's correct. How about you?
It doesn't translate.
That's correct.
But it translates to like take care of.
No, that's not maintenance. What is the one word for repair in Igbo?
Imezie.
Exactly. What is the one word for repair in You see, I'm driving you to somewhere. What is the one word for democracy in Igbo language? You don't. How about you? You don't. You're trying to practice something that is not in the concept of the language. There is no African country, and I've done it through Kenya, I've done it all, that has an equivalent of the word maintenance.
Well, in order to maintain something, you have to have it first, correct?
No, if I leave it for you, you can maintain it. The British left a lot of things in this country when they left. They established the hospitals, they established the fire station, the post offices, the railway lines, the roads they built before they left. You are not able to maintain it because you don't have that concept. Because your environment The tropical environment of Africa, the way you build your houses, the material you use, you don't require maintenance. Every country that is called industrialized countries, today one of the things you know about them is maintenance of what they have. That's why we have buildings here that are about 250 years old, 300 years old in this country. There are buildings in other countries of Europe that are 700 years ago. The Notre Dame that burned in France was a 13th century building. Do you know what kept it that long till today? Maintenance is a culture.
Trying to say.
Tell me that ain't fucking crazy.
Sure. I mean, I don't know if I'll necessarily blame it on like a cultural thing, but like.
Well, I mean, like, if you don't understand, you don't have like a word for maintenance, you're not gonna do maintenance.
I mean, sure, but I mean, I'm more so thinking like, why didn't they develop that in the first place? And that's probably because they didn't, sub-Saharan Africans, not all sub-Saharan Africans, but they didn't develop like some form of a stable civilization themselves. Like you wouldn't expect like nomadic culture to develop like some sort of persistent idea of maintenance, right? They're nomadic. Like why would they do that, right? So if you have people who are, I can't remember which, R and K selected. Like if you have people who are very, like short-term selected, they're not going to develop like long-term maintenance because you don't have to, right? And so that carried over, once the British came in there and they just like left a bunch of shit that they didn't create themselves, right? So they didn't really understand how to keep up with it as infrastructure.
I mean, yeah, that's maintenance in terms of infrastructure, but maintenance is a very basic kind of behavior you engage in because you own shit and you want it to last, especially if you're nomadic. The shit that you're dragging around, you kind of need it.
They don't own shit, right? They never develop like the wheel.
By the way, here's a great story about Africans. You ever hear about the nurse that went over there to analyze why everyone was getting sick?
No.
And figured out that it was the water because looking around the village, noticed that they would put all their dead animals and shit and piss and throw garbage in the river upstream from where they were getting their water. So, instructed everyone to clean it out. Africa, it's even better. And said, don't do that anymore. And you need to boil the water, but didn't have a timer. So what she did was took an old water bottle, poked a couple of holes in the bottom, hung it on a string where they have the fire and the pot, and it was a de facto timer, and said when this bottle of water runs out, then the water has boiled long enough for it to be safe to drink. Went away. A couple of months later, gets a call. The villagers are getting sick again. She goes back and notices that they poked a lot more holes in the bottle of water, and she said, well, why did you do that? I was designed to tell you how long it takes. Yeah, but, when we put the holes in it, it runs out faster. So we can get to the water faster. We didn't want to wait. Maybe that's why.
Yeah.
I mean, that's possible. I mean, Africans are retarded, and there's like a lot of like air pollution and water pollution and, shitty diet and malnutrition that makes them retarded. Or as retarded as they are currently. I don't believe Africans were this retarded, about 1,000 years ago. I would assume that to be the case.
It's almost like they're subhuman.
No. It's not that. Again, it's literally like, they have not gone through like the agricultural revolution. They haven't gone through like any of the shit. Right? They were fine 1,000 years ago because we weren't fucking feeding them. Right? That's the issue.
But they also consume like literally metric shitloads of neurotoxins, of any kind of neurotoxin you can imagine.
Well, yeah, because we gave it to them. We put it there.
Yeah, they're all brain damaged. Yeah, they're all significantly brain damaged.
Yeah, and inbred.
Not to mention that they all use poop as air gel.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and they're inbred.
Same thing with the Indians, right? Like the Indians are also brain damaged. Air pollution, neurotoxins. They eat shit. They bathe themselves in septic tank water. And that's why they have I've seen videos.
Cow piss. Yeah.
Yeah, like real, and that's why they have like 70 IQs. that
No,
thing.
it literally looks like Jimmy Neutron's mom. Their hair, like they make it so covered in shit. It looks like plastic.
Wait a minute, that's bad?
No. Great. Do it more.
No, I said